Welcome to A Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Fings.
We're back, man. Episode 269.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get right into it. Jaime Foxx. There's been a lot of things swirling around about Jaime and his health and him being in the hospital. And you were getting a lot of mixed reviews and reports about him stating that he was on his deathbed. And somebody else said he's not doing good.
Yeah.
Well, his daughter eventually got tired of all of it. And this is what she said. Jaime Foxx's daughter says the actor is out of the hospital and recuperating after a health scare. Corin Foxx revealed in April that the star had experienced a medical complication but is receiving great care. Jaime Foxx has left the hospital and has continued to recuperate after a medical issue last month. According to his family, his daughter Corin Foxx took to Instagram to debunk a media report stating his loved ones were preparing for the worst. She had first announced to social media April 12th that her dad had suffered a medical complication the day prior while shooting the Netflix film Back in Action in Atlanta, but was on the road to recovery following quick action and great care. Update from the family. Sad to see how the media runs wild. Corin Foxx wrote Friday in a note on her Instagram stories. My dad has been out of the hospital for weeks recuperating. In fact, he was playing pickleball yesterday. Thanks for everyone's prayers and support. Okay. The reason why I think this is important to address is because me and Keith, we purposely did not speak on this. Mm-hmm. We wanted to wait till we heard a legitimate source talk about it. Because what happens is the internet, not only these journalists, but the internet, this regular everyday people try to be journalists and they spread false narratives. Mm-hmm. And what happens now, especially when it happened to Andrew Wiggins recently, people stated that his wife cheated on him with his best friend, and that the baby wasn't
his, all kind of
crazy
stuff.
Shit to the point to where the child's mother was like, "This is crazy. Like this doesn't even make any sense."
And none of that was ever confirmed.
None of it
he
was
just
ever
went back
confirmed.
to playing basketball.
Yeah, it's crazy. And the sad part too is when here's the worst part. The reason why you shouldn't be putting your business out there is because people are already in your business. Because if you don't say anything, they will create a narrative about your life.
I think some of these celebrities have fun with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like not Andrew Wiggins, because I think he was really dealing with some real stuff. Mm-hmm. But, I think for the normal, like people, they kill celebrities all the time.
Yeah.
Ice Cube has been dead many a times. And E40 and all these guys, like, they be trending on Twitter because they died, but they really be alive. So I think sometimes celebrities have fun with this. Like, man, we know this ain't true. Like, they just going to run with this story and I'm going to live my life and y'all going to have to deal with that. So
the worst part is we live in a headline-driven society. So what happens is somebody could write a false fucking story and say, man, R.I.P. 40, he was a real one. And then somebody will just share it. Yeah. They won't question it. They won't proof check it. Nothing. They'll just fucking put it out there.
You know what? What Twitter is starting to do, which is really pretty interesting. Dang, I wish I could remember the exact post that I seen. But they're starting to have it almost like a Wikipedia page to where like somebody can go in and like underneath the post add more information or add context. So they'll say somebody like, somebody says like, Jaime Foxx has been in the hospital. He had a stroke. Underneath, somebody will put like, such and such reporter reports that this has not been confirmed. Mm-hmm. What we do know is that his daughter posted on Instagram that he was out of the hospital. And then like, it's just a way for like, to really get the truth out there versus like just putting the viral incorrect or the viral false narrative without really adding context or correcting, the false information.
Yeah, it's weird. We the way we follow celebrities is sick in America. It's disgusting. Mm-hmm. Like we live in the ET or the extra.
Yeah.
Jaime Foxx now out of the hospital after many stories of his health being bad. Mm-hmm. And then it could be something crazy like Jaime Foxx could be shaking some woman's hand. He'd be like, Jaime Foxx, new lover. Mm-hmm. He'd be like, what is this? Mm-hmm. This is just nonsense. It's just It's people creating things, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to get these celebrities to react. Like I remember you texting me, he was like, yo, I wonder why Jaime Foxx isn't responding or why his camp isn't saying anything. Mm-hmm. It's before his daughter said something recently. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking like, it's a good thing they don't, because what happens is when you put out a false narrative and you get Jaime Foxx to respond, they got you now. Now they're going to keep putting out false stuff and you're going to keep having to respond every week. Mm-hmm. The best thing you can do as a celebrity is when they put out a false narrative, all you do is you sit back, you say nothing, and then when you disprove it by just living. Mm-hmm. You just live, and then it'll be a picture of you shooting the hoops, And then they have a paper trail of lying on you. They've made themselves less credible each time they release a story.
Yeah.
They'll release a story about somebody else. They'll be like, oh, no, we don't trust these niggas. They lied on Jamie Foxx.
You know, the worst of this takes place like in sports.
Oh, my God.
There's so many narratives that goes around about different athletes, like, and none of this stuff is ever confirmed.
Nope.
It's just like narratives that go around. Like they'll say like Draymond Green called Kevin Durant crying after they lost the game to LeBron
God.
James. It's like, who, like, no one is, there's no video of this. There's no, all this is just like he say, she say, and people running with these narratives. But Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp and Stephen A. Smith and all these guys just run with it. And
ridiculous.
I think the celebrities and athletes know, like, they just understand, like, dog, I'm here to play basketball. Like, I don't have the time or the energy to always correct Skip Bayless or Stephen A. Smith every time they say something.
No, I think the highest level of, lying, the best way that they articulate it is this. My sources tell me. And it's like, oh, your sources, huh?
You got no sources.
So it's legally saying, look, I'm lying, but I can hide behind the fact that my sources,
like,
I don't have to disclose my sources.
Yeah.
So since I don't have to disclose my sources, I can tell a bold-faced lie or an assumption, feed it to you, and then you believe it. You spread that false narrative, and now we're back at square one. And then when the truth comes out, no one really cares about the story that came second.
Yeah.
All they heard was that first one, and it's a damn shame. Just recently, that guy Shams said that Dylan Brooks has been excused indefinitely from the team.
There's under no circumstances.
Under no
is he coming
circumstances. Like, they never fucking said that, man.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad that people will literally do this just for, like, they look at it as content.
Mm-hmm.
It's like journalism is garbage.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's a bunch of National Enquirers these days.
I think the hardest thing to do in today's world is to not only remain objective, but to sit back and wait for facts to come out. And you don't want to be first, because there's a bunch of shit that comes out, and me and Keith just purposely don't talk about it. Mm-hmm. Well, like this story with Jamie, we didn't talk about that. There's other scenarios that have happened. We don't talk about that. And me and Keith have purposely chosen not to talk about Deshaun Watson's story. Mm-hmm. We feel like there's more to that. I don't want to disclose what we think or know, because we don't know much. But we want to sit back and watch that, because I don't want to just condemn him yet. Mm-hmm. He's playing in the NFL for a reason. Something is not adding up there.
Yeah, it's big business. But I think in terms of Jamie Foxx, hopefully we get some more information. Obviously, like, people are very concerned about him, and we're real fans of him and his work. And he had a situation while he was working on a new movie. So obviously, like, anytime we see Jamie Foxx's name, it kind of piques your interest in terms of watching the movie. So I hope everything is good. I hope it's just something where he need to, rest a little bit and just take care of himself and take a load off and, be with his family. And then he could get back to doing what he loves, podcasting, creating content and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess the biggest lesson out of this whole thing is just to not run with the first headline we see. Even me now, the way I work, like, and rest in peace to Kobe and Nipsey. But when those situations came out, it was almost like you got to double and triple check. To make sure, because we know that it's so many weird headlines. People were saying Jamie Foxx was gone. Like he was out of here. His daughter talking about he playing pickleball yesterday. So, it's one of those things where, we just gotta just wait. It's okay to wait.
Yeah, we live in a time where they said DeMar Hamlin was dead and he had a body double. Mm-hmm. And it got so, the fucking narrative, it got spun so bad, and the story was such a lie that it made it to CBS Sports, and they asked Josh Allen, they like, people want to know if he's actually alive. And then Josh Allen was like, excuse me? Mm-hmm. What?
It's so crazy, like when there's silence by the source, that's when we can say anything.
Exactly.
The same thing happened to Hamlin when he was quiet for a couple days, and he was doing pretty good. Like, I'm sure people went to visit him in real life and saw that he was good. But because he didn't say nothing or the Bills didn't say anything for maybe a day or two, they was acting like he was gone. Like he may never,
Yeah.
but now he's up and talking and all this other stuff.
I'm talking about right after he got out the hospital. They said it was a body double because he had his face covered up.
No, I understand that. What I'm saying is like just in silence, when there's space or room to create anything that these tabloids or journalists or Twitter heads or whatever want, then that's when these stories start to run wild.
Well, the stories are gratifying to people that don't have a fucking life. And what it is people want instant gratification. Like I mentioned, the like button was one of the worst things that ever fucking happened. Because it's like, that's how our brains process things now. If it's not something major or something scandal related, then it's not gratifying enough. So we have to make things up. And when it came to Damar Hamlin, he got out of the hospital. He had his face covered up. And that's just his swag. That's just how he used to dress.
Yeah.
And he never showed his face. They said, oh, that's a body double. Damar Hamlin is dead. So it was all over the internet saying Damar Hamlin was fucking dead. And then when the dude said, people want to know, man, is that Damar or, and then Josh was like, huh? And he's like, is he good? And he's like, yeah, he's good. People are stupid. I don't get it. Josh Allen was literally confused because people were saying his teammate was fucking dead and he was in the locker room before the game.
Yeah.
So this is the time we live in, man. Yeah. And it's really fucked up and it's weird. My advice to all the listeners, when you hear some shit, don't buy it. Wait. Just fucking wait. Right? And also understand that Jaime Foxx and anybody else don't owe you shit. If all you find out is they're okay, doing well, move on with your life. There's nothing else that you need to know about.
True.
There's nothing else you need to know about Jaime Foxx that is conducive to your livelihood. You still got to go to that same job on Monday. So it does not matter what the fuck they're doing. Move on.
That's true. I think, I think as fans or people, supporters, whatever, I think we do tend to feel like we're owed something or owed information.
But you shit.
When a lot of even when Chadwick Boseman was very, very sick, he didn't say anything.
No.
We just seen 2 or 3 photos of him walking very skinny, very sickly. He made maybe one Instagram post in that same time, and then he passed away. And that's just what it was.
I commend him for that.
Yeah, but I think we got to realize that it's nobody's information, and I think they like it better that way because you don't have to deal with all of the conversation surrounding your health, and you can just go and be with the people you love without having to be with the world. You don't have to deal with the conversations on Twitter and the trending topics and stuff. You could be with your daughter and your brothers and your sisters and your uncles and your aunts and grandmas and moms and stuff like that, and just be surrounded by love versus being surrounded by just nosy people or people like even when you in retrospect, when people was making fun of Chadwick Boseman, like, man, he's skinny and what's wrong with him? He looks sick. He walking with a cane and all this other stuff. When you that's the reason why people don't be putting certain information out there. They would much rather just go in peace versus people talking bad about them because they look sick.
Yeah, but also, too, you got to understand that people are always looking for some type of meme or something that's funny because they don't have any value in their life. Yeah. Every time I visited my father when he had cancer, a little more of him was dying each and every time. Why the fuck would you want to give somebody a play-by-play of that? If I'm dying, I don't want you giving you a play-by-play of how bad I'm getting every fucking day. I commend Chadwick Boseman for dying the way he did. What the fuck do I need to tell you what I'm doing? It does nothing for you. I'd rather spend time with my wife and my family before I die. I don't need to be some big fucking headline. I don't need that. Because y'all really don't give a fuck about me anyways. Because y'all can say y'all care and I release one bad movie and you're trashing me now.
Yeah.
So what the fuck does it matter? It's unfortunate, man. I strongly advise people, man, is don't overly saturate yourself in someone else's life. Like these celebrities are humans just like you. I know you like them as actors. I know you like them as musicians, athletes, whatever. But fucking lay off it, dude. Lay off it. It's fucking weird, man.
I think coming from that celebrity side, why am I giving my life to somebody who has conditional love for me?
Crazy.
Like if I'm gonna give myself to somebody, I'd rather it be the person that loved me when I was broke.
Yeah.
The person that loved me when I was a snotty-nosed kid changing my diapers. You know, the person that loved me regardless of if I'm rich or poor. Those are the people that you really want to give all your love and information and your whole being to, versus, you know, these like fans are great. You know, they help you grow your they help you get rich. They help you buy all these nice clothes, cars, and all these other things. But at the end of the day, all that stuff is conditional. They love you because of a great album or a great movie, the movie Ray, or, you know, the Unpredictable album, whatever the case may be. But they not the same people that's going, and it can be infatuated. It could be like the Swarm show. They could love you that much, but at the end of the day, it's all conditional. It's all based on me being a great singer or a movie or actor or whatever the case may be. It's not based on me being a father or just being like having blood relationship with somebody.
Ultimately, too, is a lot of people get it fucked up. That like they think that, I think as the ultimate artist or content creator, you put things out and you put out your best content. And I mean, you hope it lands, but if it doesn't land with everybody, you understand what that means. Some people, art is subjective. Any art or content is subjective. There's some people that say, yo, a Trucker's Mind podcast is my favorite podcast by far. I love those guys. Other people say, like, they was good on the other episode, but this latest one, I didn't like it. And that's fucking fine. But please understand.
Or some people only listen to us when they liked us.
Yeah, fuck them. But here's the thing. We're not seeking your affirmation. Okay? Don't make yourself that important. We're not seeking your affirmation when we put this content out. We put it out because we love it. We hope that you do, but if you don't, fuck it. That's fine. You don't have to. And I think that these artists feel the same way. So don't think Jaime Foxx is staying up at night wondering about you. He got other shit. He got other fish to fry, man. Yeah. But I think we've exhausted this topic.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and move on. Switching gears. John Morant. This nigga just got in trouble again for the same shit. Recently, we talked about John Morant and him getting in trouble for having that gun on his live, and now he was on somebody else's live with a gun again.
Niggas.
You can't make this shit up, dude.
Yeah.
You cannot make it up. I've seen too many articles about this, but basically what happened earlier is a friend of his, I guess John Morant was
he got
driving.
Suspended.
Yeah, he got suspended, but John Morant was riding shotgun with the guy, no pun intended. And basically the song was on, I think it was NBA YoungBoy was playing in the background, and then his friend put up like a fake gun symbol, and then John Morant actually put out a gun, and then his buddy put the phone out of frame like, fuck, he put out a gun. And then basically the NBA caught wind and a bunch of people shared it, and now he has been suspended. Like, he is currently under suspension by the NBA. Here's my thing, okay? I don't know if it was intentional. I don't know if he was intentionally trying to sabotage his career or his time with the Grizzlies. I don't know if that was one thing. I can't say that that's why. Or maybe he's an idiot. But let's remember that your prefrontal cortex is not fully developed till you're almost 30 years of age. He's 23 years old. He's got a $200 million contract. He's got a bunch of women that want to fuck him, and he could pretty much have any woman he wants. He's in the NBA. He's well known, and this is like kryptonite to a young person. So I don't want to make the excuse for this guy because that's ignorant as fuck. But at the same time, like, this is the reality. Also, I don't really know if he has friends. I think he has enablers, because as friends, you would understand that I have a friend that has a very valuable career. And I don't want to put him in a position where he could get in trouble, right? At the end of the day, it's still on John Morant. But, like, dude, what kind of motherfuckers are you hanging around where this incident happens twice?
Yeah.
And then he mentioned, I went to, his PR team gave up. There's nothing they could say. I guarantee there is nothing his PR team can say about him this time. There's nothing.
They ran with that mental health stuff.
That mental health shit. And you know what, bro? I didn't talk about this, but I'm getting tired of people using mental health for your lewd behavior. Yeah. Motherfucker, if you got a real mental health problem, you can seek a mental health specialist. But the fact that you just doing some dumb shit and you hide it under the guise of mental health, I don't like it. Because there are tons of people that are really going through mental health battles that don't have money and they don't have resources, but you got a $200 million contract and you still this dumb?
Yeah.
You a stupid motherfucker. That's all you is. It ain't nothing wrong with your brain. You just a stupid motherfucker that's 23.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, it really is.
You want to act like a thug. Why?
You rich, dude. You got a lot of money. I mean, even if you feel like you need to be protected, like you can hire somebody to do that. You know, you got more than enough money to hire some type of security that can run around with a gun for you and move people out the way. And he much bigger than you and much wider than you. But I don't really get it. Like, I think, you know, there's a lot of people that are like making excuses for him. Like, you know, the laws in Tennessee, it's legal to carry a gun out there, and you know, he didn't do anything wrong. And what if a white person did this? All that stuff is cool, and all that stuff is valid, right? But at the end of the day, you are a young professional basketball player. You got fans. You're a role model. Like, there are kids looking up to you, and you got your own shoe. You got a crazy contract with Nike. You supposed to be, you like the next guy up. You know, you're one of the most exciting players in the NBA. And all you're doing is throwing your career away because you want to carry a gun around. You want to run around, listen to NBA YoungBoy and stuff like that. And it's just like, it's just the energy, dog. Like, you know, I just think like, it's a dude right now that's in the G League, barely in the G League.
He busting his ass.
He working so hard, getting up, hitting 2-a-days, hitting the gym, working on his jump shot every single day, keeping his nose clean. He may be working another job, trying to, you know, make ends meet during the off season and all this other stuff. And to see, like, you know, that's why it's like frustrating for me. Even with us, like, we see people that are content creators that are
fucking terrible,
that saying like racist stuff on their podcast and going on,
and they're making money.
Yeah, and then they just get like
stupid.
a slap on the wrist, or, you know, they get another opportunity to continue making content and stuff like that. And it's just like, you know, it just sucks for the person that's working so hard. We know a guy, Tyron Wallace, that's, you know, he's playing overseas now, but you know, he's a UC Berkeley grad. You know what I mean? Like, he's a nice kid, and he don't get the same luxury or opportunities that, you know, John Morant getting. This guy's waving guns in the air, and Tyron is, you know, not even afforded a sprinkle of that type of opportunity.
Here's the problem I have, though, too. Even though he's an idiot and he fucked up, I wonder how much of this is due to the NBA wanting to keep his image decent, because Tennessee is not gun savvy. It is not a gun savvy. What do you call it? Gun friendly state. Mm-hmm. Tennessee is a gun friendly state. And I don't understand it, because I wonder if he took a video of him at a gun range shooting, I don't think he would be in any trouble.
Yeah.
If he took a picture of him shooting a deer and having a gun next to it, he wouldn't be in any trouble. Mm-hmm. But the fact that he was playing rap music and having a gun is why he's going to be suspended. So is this also selective morality by the NBA? Mm-hmm. Or is it really because there's some wrongdoing involved? Mm-hmm. If he legally owns that gun, right? Because he didn't own up, he said it was his friend's gun. So I don't know what he's going to say this time. Is he going to admit that that's his gun, and can he actually have it? Is that like a form of brandishing a firearm? I don't know. Mm-hmm. But what I can tell you is this. This guy, I don't know how much of it is just him, or is it just the NBA trying to keep its image right? Mm-hmm. You know, another thing too is I just seen this story right now of Michael Wilbon. Michael Wilbon says John Morant's shoe was banned in his house. You know the reason why I don't take these stances on things?
Michael Wilbon, what?
Shut the fuck up. Yeah, if you knew how everybody
a shoe, come on, dog.
Yeah, but it's dumb. I hate when people make these like when Trump was elected, people was like, he's not my president and I'm not doing this, or whatever the case. Or when Biden was elected, you had Republicans, he's not my president and this and that. Like, people, remember people said they were boycotting Nike because Kaepernick had a deal with them and all of that?
Yeah.
First of all, you should never take this stance, because if you knew how everybody made their money, you wouldn't be wearing shit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's absolutely fucking stupid. And, hey, you know what's funny about Michael Wilbon? Michael Wilbon says, I'm not wearing Nikes, or I'm not wearing John Morant's shoe in my house, and he probably tweeted that from a fucking iPhone made by child slaves. Congratulations, Michael Wilbon. You got to be smarter than that, buddy. You don't want to make a stand public all the time. Just do it in public. You don't want to wear his shoes? Don't wear them. But since you work for the media, you think that this is something somebody's supposed to care about? Okay, and then also,
I don't think somebody flashing a gun is enough for me to be like, yo, I'm not wearing your shoes no more. I think I could call them stupid, but if the shoes is fire and I like them, like, I'm going to wear them.
Yeah, the funny thing, too, is, here's the funny part. If you support the Democratic or Republican Party, you really shouldn't have nothing to say. It's corruption on both motherfucking sides, but you want to put out an athlete for what and not wear his shoe? You should withdraw your support for the Democratic and Republican Party. It's fucking corruption on both sides.
Yeah.
This is why it's ignorant when you are a public figure and you want to condemn something and you literally are condemning something while supporting something worse. Do people, I don't understand, I'm not formally educated and I can see this a mile away. Why do people be having master's degrees in journalism? And I'm a dude that drives a truck, and I'm smart enough not to do this? What are you guys doing?
Because most of their tweets are not journalistic. It's just it's just a thought that comes to their head.
This nigga said it live. Wilbon announced that Morant's signature Nike shoe, which released earlier this year, was not allowed in his household, and he informed his son about the new rule too. What's going to happen now, Nike is going to pull that shoe. Is Powerade going to pull that drink? I know in my house, I told Matthew, you can't have that shoe. I'm not buying that shoe. You're not buying that shoe. Our money as a family will not go towards that. Wilbon says, shut the fuck up, Michael Wilbon.
What they need to do is Smith & Wesson or Beretta or whatever, they need to give John Morant a new contract.
Man, the NRA need to just go ahead and hook up John Morant.
Yeah.
You done had 2 gun incidences. They ain't got no problem with that.
Oh, they love it.
Yeah, it's hilarious, bro.
It is a different aesthetic though. When you talk about somebody hunting versus it's technically the same. It's just a person that owns a fire, and he said the firearm is not his. And I don't know where he was at in the video, so I can't really say exactly what was going on. But it's just a different aesthetic. When somebody is riding around listening to NBA YoungBoy flashing a pistol versus somebody in the woods hunting for elk or deer or something like that. It's just different. We could get down to well, this is, this is color and race and all that other stuff. But it's just a different energy around, riding around listening to NBA YoungBoy, whose music is primarily about, violence, versus, somebody that's, hunting animals in the woods somewhere.
Yeah. It's ignorant, but I just hate how grown adults are piling down on a 23-year-old too. That's also stupid. This is the first time was a teachable moment, but the second time you can't help stupid. Somebody want to be stupid, let them be stupid. Jalen Rose had a good take on this. He said, this is unfortunate. He said, but if somebody was following me around and I had social media when I was his age, then I would have had a whole bunch of stuff come out about me. I feel like that was a good take.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, I felt like that was a good take. And it's the thing about it too, I think we're beyond grace. They say you should have grace on people. I agree. After that first time, but you did it back to back. You just a dumb motherfucker.
It's a matter of months, bro.
You a dumb motherfucker.
A matter of months.
And I think that they say, athletes, they're being watched and this and that. We shouldn't be doing this. Let's be clear. If I'm a truck driver and I'm just a regular citizen and I can stay out of trouble, then you can stay out of trouble, motherfucker. Okay?
I also don't like the spin that he put on why he was doing it. You know what I mean? Just the whole sad sob story, sitting down with Jalen Rose and all this other stuff. That
was the first time.
I didn't even watch the interview, but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying you do, instead of just owning it, I messed up. It's more so feel bad for me because I have I'm dealing with a lot of stuff kind of situation. It's just own it that you was stupid. You was just stupid. But because the truth is always gonna come to light when you do it 2 months later and act like what is your excuse gonna be now? Your mental health got worse over those 2 months because y'all lost, or what is the?
Well, he had to do what his PR team told him, and also he's just a fucking idiot. right? So my thing is, I'm not referencing anything in that first story. Nothing. All that's dead. You did it again. So now you have to take it head on. That's why a fool will be a fool. There's no way out of it. And what you're noticing is people who are fools behind closed doors. The truest form of you in any case is who you are when no one's watching.
Yeah.
Who you are when no one's watching is the truest form of who the fuck you are. Brian McKnight is even being exposed right now about, him basically hiding his whole original family.
His OG family.
Yeah, all kind of shit's coming out about Brian McKnight. When you are a fool, you gonna be a fool. Your fool is gonna start fooling. You cannot fucking hide it. Right? Now, when it comes to Ja Morant in this case now, I think that, I don't know, he needs to just tell the truth.
Yeah, just tell the truth. I think people, at least for me, I would respect him so much more if he just came out not with all the excuses. It's the same conversation we'd be having about cheating. People be coming out and like, yeah, I was addicted to sex, and I just had a lot of trauma in my childhood, and this is the type of relationship I seen growing up, and I didn't really know how to change it. Dog, you just cheated. It's okay.
Yeah.
But same thing with this situation. If he just came out and was like, man, I just love being in the hood with my niggas. We love flashing guns. I think not that it would make it better, but I would just appreciate the authenticity much more than all this, feel bad for me because I grew up in this type of neighborhood and I'm surrounded by these type of people and I'm young and my brain is not fully developed.
He actually had a good upbringing, actually.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, but, so it's like you just don't got no excuse. I know some motherfuckers I went to school with. I knew this guy. I'll leave him nameless. His mom was like a doctor. His dad was also in the medical field or something like that. And he was a really good football player. Motherfucker ended up joining a gang after high school. Like, dude, how the fuck are you in a gang? How are you a Crip? Like, what the fuck is wrong? I don't understand some people, man. It's sad. Like, they want to be affiliated with nonsense so bad. Now, also, too, his truth could be subjective. In his mind, we say, we need to tell the truth. Like, I was dumb. I was doing this and that. But some people don't view themselves like that, Keith. He might just say, like, I'm just living my life. I'm just living my truth. You're not living your truth. You don't even know who the fuck you are.
Yeah.
Any grown man that's in a car dancing with a gun is not a fucking man.
Yeah.
And if you claim to be a thug or be in a gang is for misguided youth, not grown men. When you're a grown man and you want to be a Crip or you want to be a Blood, you just a fool. You an old fool. That don't even make no goddamn sense, man.
Even like you see like even in the NBA when there are athletes that make threes and they throwing up gang signs or they dunk on somebody and they banging on them. It's just like, what do you like? This is basketball. Dog.
NBA DumbBoy. That's his name. NBA DumbBoy is his fucking name.
Yeah.
This is embarrassing. You know what? I will end it with this. Anybody listening, when you're blessed enough to be in a position when you are making a lot of money, right? It don't matter if it's a job, some type of new business opportunity, whatever it is, you better not ever fucking show out. You better be as straight shooting and as quiet as you can fucking possibly be, because you're gonna blow your opportunities. You want to know what you want to know one thing that would completely make him change his mind and make him think about himself?
What's that? One
thing that would make Ja Morant wake up is an injury. I'm talking about a bad one, because right now his health is his best and worst asset. He could jump high, he could run fast, he could dunk on people. All this shit is happening, and as long as his health is good, he's good. But if all of a sudden you turn into Derrick Rose, you're gonna think about that dumb shit you was doing, because you will not be. Ja Morant is not skilled enough. He's not skilled enough. He's just not.
He's very athletic.
He's very athletic. He's a hell of a player, but he's athletic. Now, a guy like Kobe got older, developed a short range. He could back you down. He was very fundamentally sound. Ja Morant's not that fundamentally sound. His athleticism is working for him, and he plays really hard at the basket. He's getting knocked down a lot. He's always on the ground. If he all of a sudden becomes unhealthy, he gonna think about all that dumb shit he was doing, because he's not gonna get the same money, and that's gonna wake him up. A 35-year-old Ja Morant in the future is going to really realize, like, man, I really fucked my career up. Because, I mean, there's been other guys that had careers that started like Ja Morant, but we don't know their names anymore.
Yeah, I mean, you said Derrick Rose.
Well,
not that we don't know his name, but he's just not the same player that he was.
No, I could give you a perfect example of a guy that started off just like John Morant. I feel like their careers were mirroring, but with an influx of drugs and bad behaviors. Mr. Steve Francis. Steve Francis was a guy that was dunking on people, and all of that. But you look at him now, he looks fucked.
Damn, yeah.
So it's like, bro, don't do this. You are going down the same path as Vin Baker and all these other guys that were hella great athletes and ended up being drunks and alcoholics or made a bunch of bad decisions off the court. Sean Kemp just got locked up for shooting at somebody.
Yeah, I seen that.
It's like, dog, come on. You go from shooting hoops to shooting people.
That don't even make sense.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Just please be smarter.
Man, I don't even. Yeah, it's kind of a done deal already. But just you gotta wake up, bro. That's all it really is.
Dude is young. When you getting head from a different girl every other day, and you got a $200 million contract, that is the worst thing for you because you think you could do no wrong. And this franchise has gifted you all this money, and it's only because you're so great at basketball. But when you become a bad investment, every team is gonna want your price to drop. He just dropped this price.
The thing and they love that too because you're still the same player. You still John Morant that could jump out of the gym, but we're not gonna give you no super max because you stupid.
You stupid. You super stupid. I can't trust you for that. There's somebody on the end of a bench right now that didn't get no playing time for most of the season, and they work harder than John Morant. They show up to practice every day. They play hard defense every day, and they will not see the court. There have been multiple people that said, man, there's been some hella great players that never got to see the court in the NBA. And it's only because they pay guys like John Morant all that money, and they could be locking John Morant up in practice, and they still don't get on the court.
Yep. They won't get no opportunity.
It's fucked up, man.
But now they may get an opportunity because this nigga gonna be suspended for a lot of games.
Look here, bro. If I'm in a G League that is an affiliate of the Memphis Grizzlies, and I heard about him doing this, I just will grab my basketball and go straight to the gym right now.
Yeah, putting some shots up.
I'm putting shots up every motherfucking day.
But we see it every year though. Like
Right.
I forget the guy on it, Brunson on the Knicks.
Yep.
He's not exactly like that. Or Austin Reeves, like, guys like undrafted guys that take advantage of opportunities. Like, these are the type of guys that take advantage of these situations where John Morant gets suspended for whatever reason, or players get hurt and all this other stuff. And it's always going to be a guy out there that the underdog that gets an opportunity, and he really a baller, and he really going to show up when his name get called.
Imagine this, and I'll just leave this scenario before we move on. But imagine being a dude, right? And you're a young dude, you got a great girlfriend. She's really pretty, she's really smart, she's a really good person, very loyal, all of this. But all these other women want you. You're getting your dick sucked every day, you fucking all these different chicks. Everything is great. But everything is great mainly because your girlfriend, the main girl in your life, is staying there. She hasn't left. She's still there. So you getting pussy on the side, you just think it's just no big deal, right? But one day, that girl up and leaves. She gets the power to leave your ass, and now you sick. Now all them women giving you head and shit don't mean nothing no more because you sick because that woman left your ass. And that's how opportunities will leave your ass when you do not appreciate them. You think everything is sweet. You got all this bad behavior because the NBA has not made its decision to cut your ass, and you think it's all good. And even a little suspension, it still don't mean nothing to him. He got a bunch of money and idle time. That's the worst thing for a young person. If the NBA said, nah, we about to get rid of you for a year, that's going to make him really motherfucking think.
Yeah, I think one thing, too, is like, I think somebody was that was like talking about like the greatest there's always these debates, who's the greatest basketball player. Michael Jordan, like they kind of like talked about like what each athlete did. It was like, well, Steph made the average person not too tall, not crazy athletic. They made them see basketball in a different way. Like, man, if I worked on my jump shot, I could be Steph Curry. You really can't be Steph Curry. That's the lie that people tell themselves. But Steph Curry is just a one of one. You don't just roll out of bed and work really hard and become the best shooter in the world. Like, you got to have some sort of natural ability. And then like they talked about LeBron. Like LeBron is just like a basketball savant, like, you know, super freak athlete. He's kind of like the culmination of the Jordan and the Kobe and everybody, along with like just super intelligent. And then there's like Michael Jordan, you know, like freak athlete, could jump out of the gym. He kind of like and then like the tenacity. But they were saying like the thing that Kobe Bryant did was Kobe Bryant made work ethic like admirable. Like the Mamba mentality is like a real thing, the waking up at 4 a.m. and getting to practice in and then dropping the kids off at school, then going back to the gym and then going to eat lunch and then going back to the gym again and then going to sleep and doing that over and over and over. And made like working out cool, right? And you don't see that from like some of these younger guys or the guys like John Morant.
These motherfuckers don't got no veterans no more.
Like the most time, I mean, the thing that we see the most out of John Morant is him on social media at the strip club and waving the guns. We don't really see, like when we seen Kobe Bryant in the offseason, he was working out. You know, he was at the kids' camps. And obviously this was when he was a little bit older, but that's like, you know, that was like part of his upbringing because he was 17 years old in the NBA and all he could do was really just work out. You know what I mean?
The NBA's business model is fucked because there's not enough veterans in the league anymore. There's not. And the thing about it too is there's nobody to really hold this kid accountable because all of his peers or guys on the team are his fucking age. I'm 38, but even when I was a kid, I remember watching guys like Kevin Willis and, you know, Jeff Hornacek and Vinny Del Negro and all these other older guys that were coming off the bench, you know, and some of these guys were mentoring players. Like Kevin Garnett talked about his vets. Even Charles Barkley, when he came to the Philadelphia Sixers, talked about he had Dr. J and Moses Malone. But he said this new NBA, there's no real vets there anymore.
Young guys.
It's a bunch of young guys that just run around and shoot threes all the fucking time.
Teams be super young, like 22 average age on the team be like 23 years old.
I'll be real with you. I'm at an all-time low with the NBA. I'm at an all-time low. The best basketball that I watched was in the 2010s or in 2010 with the Lakers. A little bit after that is when the NBA started transitioning and it just wasn't that entertaining to watch anymore.
Yeah.
It just wasn't.
Yeah, I hear you.
In 2010, when the Lakers played Boston, they played a prime team. And then no, that was the last one was in 2010. Before that, they had the Orlando.
They played Magic.
And, man, that was really good basketball, man. Yeah. Like, you had real tough players out there. You had Matt Barnes out there. You know, you had players really playing defense. Nowadays, motherfucker do a step back 3 times and shoot it. It's like, man, I'm tired of watching this NBA. Like, I'm a diehard Laker fan, but I be catching myself like, I mean, whatever. Like, I ain't really tripping. Watching AD. AD got taken off the court in a fucking wheelchair.
Hey, he got hit in the head.
Ridiculous. Come on, man. Kobe tore his Achilles, went back and tried to play defense, fell down, and then got free throws, and then sunk the free throws.
So shot free throws with a torn Achilles.
Swished
him.
Yeah, and limped.
Yeah.
And then this dude get tapped on the head and got to get a wheelchair. God damn. Look, if AD cannot stop himself from being soft, Lakers will not see themselves out this series.
Because the Nuggets is no joke.
No.
Jokic is the real deal.
Jokic is the real deal.
Literally just won the MVP a couple years ago. So
Jokic is the type of dude, the reason why Jokic is really getting off bad is because he doesn't have competition at that position.
It's not too many. It's really, when you look at the center position, it's like Jokic and Embiid.
That's it.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. And AD is really a small power forward. He's not like he a center now because he's the tallest, biggest player on, you know, in the modern NBA. But he really a small power forward.
Bro, if Anthony Davis played in the 90s, he would have got punked.
He get pushed around.
He'd have got punked because he's too soft down there and he always falling down.
Even the power forward position, you got to go against like
Kevin Garnett in the 90s.
Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan,
Karl Malone,
Charles Barkley, and Charles Barkley shorter than him, but he would be pushing him around.
You got to go against Anthony Mason. You got to go against all these dudes in the 90s. You like Charles Oakley. Charles Oakley, they would have put Charles Oakley on AD and locked him down. This is people don't realize, bro. The best basketball that, to me, and this sounds a little bit age biased, it was in the 90s, bro. 90s all the way up to 2010. After that, the NBA started like just becoming a shootout. And I think Steph Curry is at like the beginning of that. Like, I'm not trying to hate on Steph, but Steph kind of birthed that type of basketball because the part of what makes Steph different than anybody is the fact that this nigga could literally shoot from half court.
Yeah, and the thing with Steph though is that he plays basketball most of the time the right way. Every great player takes bad shots, but it's almost like if you look at like boxing, right? You look at like Floyd Mayweather. He was maybe the best defensive boxer ever. There's a couple other guys in there, Pernell Whitaker and those kind of guys that were really good. But what happens is you get a guy like Adrian Broner who wants to do the shoulder roll like Floyd Mayweather.
That don't work.
But it's not quite the same. Like you're not technically as savvy. And that's the same thing that happens in the NBA. Like Steph, he shoots a lot of threes, but he also can get to the basket, right?
Yeah.
But what happens when you seeing these up and coming young guys, they just shooting threes and chucking them up and they don't really know how to play basketball. So it makes Steph look bad because y'all not doing it in the same, y'all not doing it under the same structure that he's doing it. So it's almost like, it's like the podcasting game, right? You see guys like Joe Rogan and Joe Budden and all these guys making money. So everybody just getting a microphone and they sitting down in front of their iPhone or in front of a camera thinking that they can podcast. When in reality, it's more to it than just, showing up and talking.
I think that a lot of times podcasting can be the most unbiased thing. It's only biased when people have a name and they only get an audience because they're popular, right? And they're not really high level conversationalists. They're just people that got a microphone and they got a name, right? And it's like, oh fuck, they suck. But I think towards the beginner level or the level where you're not making a bunch of money, what sets you apart from different podcasts is the fact that you can engage people by having real conversations. If you can engage people on that level, then people are going to keep listening to you. And we got return listeners that come every week because they must like how we have a conversation. Yeah. I've literally seen people put up clips of themselves in a podcast. I'm thinking like, you chose to use that. No disrespect, but it'll be like, it's real repetitive. Have you noticed that people will like those motivational people?
It's like a lot
real
of cliches. Yeah.
There's like, like if you put one foot in front of the next on a daily basis and you fight for yourself and your future. And it's like, stop it.
Yeah.
And then they put the music behind it. You ever notice that?
Dun, dun, yeah.
Dun, dun.
Yeah. It'd be like, some real bland, like, one thing that I've learned in this podcasting game is that you really gotta be real consistent, man. And really just, speak from your heart and you'll be successful. And it's like, dog, you're not successful.
No.
You got 20 listens.
Yeah, you did. Stop it. Yeah. You're not there, man. You're not there.
You're not in a position like I don't like the unsuccessful coach. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, have you ever, we played high school football and I played at the junior college and stuff like that. But have you ever like been getting chewed out by a coach and then you like, dog, what's your resume look like?
Yeah.
And then you find out he played flag football in junior high or something like that.
Man.
Because, it's one thing to coach me up, but it's another thing. Sometimes coaches get real disrespectful. Like, back in my day, I was like this. Or I had a coach like that. He was like, back in my day when I went up to BC, it was all these players from Bakersfield High School that was up there, but I was the only one that was from, he might have went to like Foothill or something. I was the only one that was from Foothill, and I was cracking heads. And I was just like, I just looked at him one day. I was like, dog, you wasn't really like that.
Nah, you wasn't like that.
It just sound good.
And we're from Bakersfield. Like, I know people that know you, man.
Yeah.
If I wanted to really figure out who the fuck you were, I could do it.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're not built like that, if you ain't got something going on, don't say it. It's not going to help.
Yeah.
Don't talk about how to be successful when you're not there yet. Now, you make yourself more relatable if you're like, hey, I'm on my way to be successful. This is what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
These are the habits that I'm adopting, right?
Yeah, I think, that's what I appreciate about my coach Gola. He was like, when he talked about his football career, it was always from the standpoint of like work ethic. Like, I went out to this school, I was playing at a junior college, and I would do 100 catches on the jug machine, and when I went home, I was doing this and I was doing that, and that's how I became like okay. That's how I became good enough to play. But it was never like, you know, I was out here smacking heads and other dudes. It's just like it was just authenticity is what most athletes appreciate the most.
Yeah, I'm not gonna have some tall tales, and if I wasn't that great of an athlete or a player, I'll just be very blunt. Like, hey, I wasn't great, but I was a student of the game. I'm here to make sure you guys, you know, get this information and get and apply it to the game. Now, let's go ahead and move on. All right. Switching gears. Bills punter, Matt Araiza. I'm not sure how many of you guys know this story, but Matt was accused of gang rape, to be more specific. Where the fuck is this story at? Oh, come on. That's not it. Okay. Okay. Matt Araiza. Okay. What's next in the case? Matt Araiza, asking a punter, accused. Okay. Matt Araiza. What's next in the Matt Araiza case? Okay. Matt Araiza was released as the starting punter for the Buffalo Bills in August. That came 3 days after he was named in a civil lawsuit that alleged that he participated in multiple rapes of an intoxicated 17-year-old girl in 2021 off-campus house party while he attended San Diego State. Araiza maintained his innocence, but the allegations were graphic. I knew I would be cut, Araiza told Yahoo Sports in December. The San Diego District Attorney's Office announced that it would not criminally charge Araiza for the others for the alleged assaults. The recent release of recording of Deputy District Attorney explaining to the girl and her attorney the decision, the detailing witness testimony and evidence, including videos, has bioed Araiza's hope of returning to the league. Most notably, fuck all this. Basically, I'll just narrow it down what ended up happening. He was acquitted of the charges because he wasn't even there. The girl had basically added him into a story of her being gang raped when in actuality, it came back that all of her interactions with men were consensual. She had sex with 3 different men that same night, and her friends even spoke against her story, right? But that affected his livelihood, and he was cut from the fucking Bills. He had a 3-year contract for $3.9 million, and he lost it based on the fact that of these accusations. Mm-hmm. What I'm here to say is this. I think that women's when they basically, they're not accusations, what do you call it? Their claim. Mm-hmm. If they claim they've been raped, it should be taken seriously at all times. But let's be motherfucking clear here. When women come out and lie, that ain't good, because it's literally, you don't ever want society to say, oh man, she lying. Mm-hmm. It's too many women that's actually being assaulted and raped out here. Mm-hmm. This is a very motherfucking serious topic. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you just called for this man to be, you know, you called him a rapist and a gang rape, that he wasn't even fucking physically there. It's mm-hmm. been proven he wasn't even there. Mm-hmm. Now he got to walk around being called a rapist his whole fucking life.
Yeah, they gonna show up to the football games with the signs and boycotting the games and get this man off the field, even though he been acquitted.
You know, funny thing too is the apologies are never as loud as the accusation. So the initial accusation, they're like, "Oh my God, he's sick. We need to ban this. We need to do this," and then they prove that the guy wasn't even there, and no one updates, no one apologizes. The girl's identity hasn't even been given out to the public, and she fucking lied. Mm-hmm. She should be in prison for what she did. Mm-hmm. You need to start making examples out of women that do this shit. The idea, and I don't agree with this at all. Mm-hmm. Everyone has the ability to lie. Believe all women, that's bullshit. You need to stop it now. I don't believe all women, because everyone has the ability to lie. Mm-hmm. But I also believe that every woman's claim should be taken seriously, and she should not be called a liar. Mm-hmm. Until the evidence comes out, we need to give people the ability to be fucking innocent, for Christ's sake. This is not right. Mm-hmm. What the fuck is going on out there? Is he rapping?
Nah, I sound like Too Short or something.
Oh, But this is disgusting. And this is not just an isolated incident. They have a whole movie. A dude named, what's his name, Brandon Banks. Mm-hmm. He got accused of rape, and she came back and said she wasn't, that she came back and said that it was a lie. Mm-hmm. It was a whole movie made about it. Sean Oakman recently went to Baylor. The girl ruined his life. He went to prison, and then she ended up telling, like, hey, he didn't rape me. And now his NFL career is ruined. Like, I know people don't want to hear this, but false rape accusations really do happen, folks.
Yeah.
This should not be taken lightly. They need to start throwing the book at women that make false rape accusations, because there are really women being assaulted. And those women deserve the right to be taken seriously. But the moment that we don't take women seriously, there's going to be a woman that really was gang raped, that was really beat up, that was really physically assaulted, that will not get her just due, because it's girls out here fucking lying.
Yeah. Yeah, it talks about in the thing that, you know, in the videos, they basically say it didn't look like she was getting forced to do anything.
No. She was bragging about fucking these guys. She was lying, saying, I'm 18, I want to fuck. She fucked 3 dudes in the same night.
Yeah.
It's all documented. This is also for men. You need to protect yourself and not be around women like this. You need to protect yourself from overly promiscuous women that's trying to have orgies, or they trying to fuck your friends.
Especially when alcohol and stuff is involved.
Stop. Yeah, you need to stop. And also too, a woman that is in these vulnerable positions, alcohol will lower her inhibitions, and she may not even know what she's doing at the moment. She might be drunk and saying, I want all of you guys to fuck me at the same time. And then she sobers up like, oh my God, what are you doing here? Stop having sex with drunk women. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. I've had a chick told me, man, and this is a grown ass woman. She told me I'm really drunk right now. I want to come over. And I told her no. I said, I'm finna just get some sleep. She's like,
very mature.
Swear to God. She said, I want to come over. And first of all, I'm insulted. So you only want to come over and fuck me because you're drunk?
Yeah.
Like, we can't fuck being sober?
Yeah.
Like, is this like, first of all, too, I don't trust you because this is the common practice for you. Like, this is the perfect excuse. Like,
you're just going to text the next guy when you say no.
Yeah, exactly. But you want to, like, you almost feel like you're absolving yourself from your own behavior by being drunk at the moment. Like, oh, I was drunk and I had fun. Like, no, I don't want your drunk ass. I don't want your drunk pussy. Leave me alone. No.
Yeah.
And I don't think that all women are out here accusing men of something they didn't do. But even if I'm at the gym or anywhere else, I got a hands-off policy. I don't touch nobody. I'm standing way back. If I do communicate with a woman, I'm standing way away from her motherfucking ass.
Yeah.
If I don't got no reason to really mingle and deal with you, I don't do it.
Yeah. I just think this is a very unfortunate situation because, Matt Araiza, I was listening to the Emmanuel Acho response to what had happened, and he was drafted. Most of these punters go undrafted, and then they end up, just getting onto a team, and they have really successful careers. But he was the best punter in college, and he's only 22 years old. You know what I mean? Like, potentially his life could be over so young at 22 years old because of some allegations. And this is I think the biggest thing out of this situation is we just have to wait for the facts.
You have to wait.
For the he was on the Bills, right?
Yes.
Yeah, for the Bills to cut ties with him even before knowing like what literally happened, doing all of this based off of, allegations is just so sad. And it's even worse that like a lot of this stuff is like case by case, right?
Yeah.
There's no precedent with these things. Like, no disrespect to Deshaun Watson, but he had a bunch of, allegations, and he got the biggest contract ever.
Thank you.
And it's just like, maybe because he's a punter or
Thank
whatever,
you.
maybe
there
because
you go.
he's young, whatever the case may be, like he just get shooed to the side. Oh, we'll find another punter.
Selective morality at its finest.
Yeah. So I just think like, man, I think that we really have to, like we talked about before, like with Tory Lanez, with this Jaime Foxx situation, just really being patient. You know, it's okay to be like, we don't know what happened, and we're gonna wait and see. But until then, he's on our team, and he's gonna show up and work hard just like anybody else. And I think that's the perfect way to handle it. But when you just start cutting people based off of allegations, then you find out he wasn't even there.
He wasn't even physically there.
Yeah, it's so, and I could only feel like with him, like the full gamut of emotions, like did I do something? Even though he wasn't there, like he probably questioning himself, like, man, like how did this happen to me? And frustration, mad at the team, mad at himself, and probably depressed because the sport that you love playing and you probably been playing for over half of your life, it gets ripped away from you because somebody said something.
It's not just because somebody said something. A lot of times the company you keep will get you in fucking trouble. Mm-hmm. For anybody that's in college, these parties where all these women is loose and fucking everybody and sucking everybody, stay away from that. You better off at the end of the day having a girlfriend and being back at your dorm and you just focusing on making sure you get your playbook right and maybe having a drink or something with your lady. That's what you better. If you really,
but he wasn't there though.
No, he wasn't there. But I'm saying he wasn't at the party at the time.
Oh, he left at that.
Yeah,
time.
He was gone. But what I'm saying is that when you intertwine with low vibrating people, anything could happen. It's like, for example, if I say, "Hey Keith, hey man, on Saturday, me and this chick finna go to the club," and you like, you don't normally go to the club. You sure you want to go there? I'm like, nah, but why not? And I go there and I get shot. I went to the bullshit. If you are a person that has established that you want to go somewhere in life, that hey, I want to be in the NFL. But you've seen many stories of men in the NFL that went to strip clubs and got shot or got robbed, or went to some other place and got shot, robbed, or was drunk and drove 100-something miles an hour. Whenever you are around influences that don't have an issue with that type of lewd behavior, you're going to fuck your whole life up. Mm-hmm. You're going to fuck your whole life up. Whenever you, what they call it, new levels, new devils. Whenever you trying to level up in your life, you have to be able to separate, are the things I'm doing, are they aligning with where I want to go? If they're not aligning where you want to go, you got to cut them loose, dog.
Yeah. That's true. I think it's, this is, this is more of a retroactive one, so it's kind of hard to say. And obviously, like, he was really good in college, so he probably should have started to put himself in a position earlier on. Mm-hmm. But I think that applies to him, but it definitely applies to people that are, we talked about like Chris Brown, for instance. Like he continually like keeps popping up in these stories where he's like fighting somebody, or he's yelling at somebody, or he's pushing somebody, or somebody has some allegations, against him. Like, so I think that it applies in all these situations, but definitely when you already establish, like, people be putting themselves in situations. I think, for him, I'm sure he learned something. He learned a lesson for sure. I'm sure he'd be in the house.
Yeah.
I'm sure he made his own curfew. I'm in the house at 9:00. I'm only surrounding myself around people that I know. And yeah, it's a sick situation. But what do you think is the aftermath of this? Is he going to be back in the league?
The NFL better get him back in the league now. Because the NFL love to exercise that selective morality with fucking Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson got like over 20 allegations from women, and you allowed a quarterback to play, and because he a punter, you kick him off the team. So yes, they say, it was the Bills' decision to excuse him, but overall, everything comes to the Shield, homie. Mm-hmm. You think Deshaun Watson could have got to the Browns without the Shield having something to say about it?
No.
So it's selective morality, and the problem is these businesses, they don't give a fuck about people, man. They don't care about nothing. You think about it too. If you just look, if Tom Brady hit a woman in the face and it was caught on camera and the Super Bowl was coming up, you think they're going to suspend Tom Brady from playing in that Super Bowl?
Nah.
Not Tom. Maybe somebody else.
Even Ben Roethlisberger has some wild allegations.
Yeah, 2 rape allegations on Ben Roethlisberger. 2 of them.
Even, what's the dude's name that used to play for the Buccaneers? Jameis Winston.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he had I watched the documentary. It was a while. I watched it in college, and my stomach was turning.
Oh wow.
It was just like very. Yeah, it's kind of hard to watch because
I didn't see that.
Yeah, essentially it was like it's the same sort of like a same sort of thing with Matt Araiza, but it was more evidence supporting the legitimacy of it actually happening in terms of him being the star quarterback at Florida State, and it basically played out to where like the girl alleged that she got raped and she didn't really know who he was. She knew that he was in her. I think she was in her class, or he was in her class, but she wasn't familiar. And this is all alleged because it's who knows what actually happened. But she alleged that she didn't really know who the person was, and then they went to a party, and she ended up getting taken advantage of. And then the next thing you know, she sees him all over the TV and stuff like that. And then she comes out and she tried to tell us what happened, and then it just all gets swept under the rug because he's the big time quarterback at Florida State. So
yeah.
And
people, the worst thing you could do is say like, he's a star quarterback, and he's not a bad looking guy. Why would he have to rape her? We can't think like that because there's a lot of people out here.
Darren Sharper.
A lot of dudes come packaged up as the handsome, rich, successful guy that's out here raping women. You got the Darren Sharper who is a fucking serial rapist. Then you got Trey Songz who's been accused by women of sexually assaulting women. And women love him. He's this is a super handsome singer, but he out here taking advantage of women. I don't know the full details, but it's too many fucking women coming forward for us to sweep that under the rug. Sometimes rapists, this is what I talked about it one day on the podcast. Sometimes rapists come packaged up as everything a woman wants. Attractive, money, talented, and he's a fucking rapist. And sometimes women got to watch it because they get a little too comfortable around men like that, right? A lot of people, when they think of the word rapist or assaulter, they see this big monster dude that looks like Shrek. Nah. Sometimes the motherfucker that's an assaulter look like Trey Songz, look like Chris Brown, looks like a Darren Sharper, looks like a Will Smith, looks like whoever. So don't get too comfortable around a man because of his status. That nigga could be a motherfucking assaulter.
A menace.
A straight up menace. And everybody is absolving him of doing his wrongdoing because he's handsome. Why does he have to do that? They try to do that with R. Kelly. R. Kelly is rich and handsome, and he's a good singer. Why would he have to be with young girls? Yeah. Turns out he was so sick in the 90s, it was right under everybody's nose.
I was watching a thing yesterday where I think dude's name is like Torre or something like that. He was like, he asked R. Kelly, he was like, do you like teenage girls? And he was like, how young we talking?
How young we talking? I'm like,
like 19. That was a tricky question. Like, and I could kind of get like it was kind of open ended for a reason. He was trying to he was doing probably like a journalistic tactic to try to get him.
What junior high you talking about?
yeah, because if obviously if you're 18 and everything is fair game. Legally, but I think that that's just wild coming from him, and it made for great content. So good on his part.
There was a TikToker that literally said it was right under our noses the whole time. And there's a song that came out in the early 90s where he said he was like saying some names and he thought the
name is like Lil Leah cute or something. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. But he was shouting out Aaliyah at that time, and
he's like Tammy's got it, and it was like Stacy's got it, and then Lil cute Aaliyah's got it. Yeah,
Aaliyah was 13 at the time he said that shit.
God damn.
He was fucking a 13-year-old Aaliyah, man.
Little cute Aaliyah guy.
Oh my God, what a sick fuck. But nobody would have got it. All they heard was my body's calling.
Yeah.
And they think like, oh,
my mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yeah.
He was trying to tell y'all, my mind's telling me no, but my body's telling me yes. Bro, that statement in itself, that's very assault.
Yeah.
That screams assault to me.
Yeah.
Like my mind is telling me I shouldn't be doing this, but my body is telling me. That sounds very assaulty. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
You can't come out with a song like that today. If you try to even sing that song, you're gonna get canceled.
That's wild. Yeah.
My mind's telling me no,
but my
penis telling me yes, baby.
My bladder's telling me no, but I gotta pee. I gotta pee.
But my urine's telling me yes. Baby.
I don't see nothing wrong with a little peeing on you.
I don't see nothing wrong with a little piss and grind.
A little piss and grind. A little piss and grind. Ad libs in the back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. My party's calling for you.
God damn.
Oh, man.
That's crazy.
See, I'm wise enough to know when someone... First of all, they said he was illiterate, right?
Yeah, he couldn't read.
So how the fuck was he writing songs?
I mean, he could speak. You know, he not writing them down. He's probably just going in the studio like...
R. Kelly was living the American dream. He was stupid and still was making money.
Straight idiot. I think he was like
his education level matched the women he dated. And
that's what a lot of people were saying. But he like a musical genius though. Like, and like all of his intelligence is just strictly in music. All the other stuff was just like, very regular.
I bet you he in
all
prison.
them bad contracts and stuff.
That nigga went in every prison talent show alive.
Mm-hmm.
He in there like, ha, 5. All right. Well, we hope the best for Matt, man. Hopefully he could salvage his career and somebody gives him a job.
The Niners got a good punter, but it wouldn't hurt to have another going.
Yep. All right, let's switch gears. Switching gears. Adidas is back selling Yeezys. Remember quite a while back when freaking Kanye made anti-Semitic statements and, Adidas said, hey, enough of this, okay? We're not dealing with Kanye anymore. And then all of a sudden they had record lows.
They lost a lot of
money, hundreds. I think it got up to over around $100 million or something like that.
Yeah, a lot of money in sales, and the stock price went down.
All right, Adidas has decided what it's going to do with unsold Yeezy merchandise. At Investors Conference Thursday, Adidas CEO said that the apparel company is going to sell parts of its inventory and donate money to organizations that are helping us, and that was also hurt by Kanye's statements.
I bet they won't say the percentage though.
Here's the translation. We're going to keep all the money, but we want to, So
we're going to donate our time.
Here's the dumbest thing that they can do, right? If somebody legally asks for the receipts of where you donated the money, you're going to have to prove it. If legally you don't have to prove it, then go ahead and do you. But if somehow you have to provide receipts for where that money went to, and you can't, then you're just going to be looking greedy.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't even think they would have to. I mean, they're a publicly traded company, so they have to speak about certain things in terms of revenue and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think they got to show where they donate money.
It's just like Spotify or other companies that don't have to show you the metrics that they use to determine how they're paying you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like all the business practices don't have to be on Front Street. Well, anyways, Adidas had previously said it expects to lose $1.3 billion in revenue this year because of it's unable to sell the designer Yeezy clothing and shoes. That is wild. That's a lot of money. 1.3. That's with a B.
That's. It's just crazy to think how powerful Kanye West is in terms of his influence on Adidas. Not an athlete. Not James Harden or. Whoever other, I don't even know who other Adidas athletes there are, but yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. It had been under pressure from investors to determine what to do with the merchandise after Adidas terminated its partnership with Ye, formerly known as Kanye West. When we will do what we went, they put when we, but that's a typo. They didn't catch it. Come on, CNN. Was it fucking CNN? Bad job. When we will do that. And how we will do that is not clear yet. But we are working on those things. According to the transcript provided by CNN from Adidas, he added that The company has been trying to find solutions since the partnership was terminated last fall and decided against burning the leftover merchandise. Y'all not burning that.
You burning millions of dollars.
Yeah, stupid. Adidas ended its almost decade-long partnership in October 22. Ye wore the White Lives Matter t-shirt in public. The Anti-Defamation League categorizes the phrase as a hate slogan used by white supremacist groups, including Ku Klux Klan. Days later, Ye said, I can say anti-Semitic shit and Adidas can't drop me during a podcast taping. The partnership was a financial success for Adidas, so much so that it's still financially hurting from its termination. Losing the highly profitable Yeezy line hit sales in the quarter by around 400 million euros, 441 million in American dollars, Adidas said during its earnings last week.
Yeah, I think that what I would suggest to any of these companies is just stay out of the political correctness.
Just shut up.
Yeah, because you really never going to win because at the end of the day, if Nike, I don't know who the biggest earner, maybe like LeBron James when it comes to Nike. He's probably making them the most money. If LeBron James come out, and this would never happen, but if he come out and say some wild stuff, I think y'all just need to have a press conference and just move on. Mm-hmm. Because when you start to really try to be like the good guy or the politically correct company, the company that's looking out for the best interest of its customers and all this other stuff, you just look stupid. Because we know where the products are being made. They're being made overseas in these sweatshops and stuff like that.
Thank you.
And then we also know that a lot of this stuff is only because it's public. Right? We know that there's probably the one athlete that's on our roster that has done some terrible stuff, but it's got swept under the rug because, they got enough money to make things disappear. And so I just think the best thing for y'all to do is just try to, you can have a conversation around it and maybe hold a press conference and have a press release and all this stuff. But y'all got to stop dropping athletes because it don't work. Especially with Adidas, y'all not big enough. Y'all not moving the needle enough to get rid of Kanye West. Like, it's the same thing with Under Armour. If Under Armour decide to get rid of Steph Curry, it's like, what else do y'all got over there?
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember back in the day, and I'll have to proof check it, but this really happened. Kathy Lee Gifford, you know who Kathy Lee is, right?
Yeah.
Kathy Lee,
like a comedian?
No.
Who was that?
Kathy Lee was on Kathy Lee and Regis. They had that.
Kathy Griffin.
No,
who's Kathy Griffin. She's
a comedian.
Yeah, okay.
Kathy Griffin. I'm talking about Kathy Lee Gifford.
Okay,
that's Frank Gifford's wife, right? She was
really.
Yeah, Kathy Lee Gifford. I know you're not that young. Come on, man. You know
who
Regis Philbin is? Regis?
No, I know who you're talking about. I'm saying I didn't know that was Frank Gifford's wife.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I didn't know that.
Yes, that's his wife. Well, Kathy Lee had a designer. She had a brand in Walmart back in the day. Mm-hmm. And what ended up happening is somebody was a whistleblower and found the fucking sweatshop that was making her clothing, and they took all that shit off the shelves at Walmart. Mm-hmm. Right? And Walmart had to act like they didn't know. Nigga, y'all know where the fuck that shit came from.
How do you not know?
Hold on. Let me proof check this. I just want to make some sense of this. Kathy Lee sweatshops. Okay, last year, the television personality was criticized when labor activists revealed that some of her line sold at Walmart was produced in a Honduran sweatshop. Her husband, Frank Gifford, later visited a grimy New York factory with checks for workers who said they weren't paid. Mm-hmm. Wow, so Frank Gifford went and paid them. Crazy, but come on, man. You guys are not oblivious to what's going on. Mm-hmm. You're trying to get top dollar. You know, if you could pay them the lowest wage to get your shit done, if you got to pay American workers, right? If you had to pay American workers to get your shit done, then you would have to make your prices ridiculously high.
Yeah, we can't. But that's the thing. Like, we just got to be real.
It's a big game.
Like, the thing with me, if I ever end up owning like this like global brand of clothing or whatever the case may be, I'm gonna just be honest. Like, there's just honest to the people. If y'all want $20 t-shirts and $40 jeans, and you don't want $100 jeans and $70 t-shirts, I gotta get them made overseas, and this is just what it looks like. You know? So you can be mad at me all y'all want to, but this is the only way. Somebody has to get the tail end of it, right? But for everybody to be trying to stand on this moral high ground, like we have sustainable clothes and this is green over here, and economically sourced and all this other stuff. Like, dog, just be honest. That's what I think most people want.
Yeah.
Even with Kanye West, when he came out and he was like, I want affordable clothes and I wanted the clothes at Gap to be like this. It's like, dog, you Kanye West. It's not gonna happen. When you put Yeezy on anything, they know it's like a luxury item. So you're not gonna make no $15 sneakers, Kanye West. Like, it sounds good in conversation, but that's never gonna happen.
Yeah, even when you talk about green, or people wanting to, I want to reduce my carbon footprint and whatever, right? Yeah. Man, none of that shit is really what it is. You know that there's even for the Teslas, they have a bunch of cobalt mines, cobalt miners, and it is just sad. Like the very beginning stages of creating these things and these huge freaking lithium batteries and all of this. It's all built from those cobalt mines with a bunch of people digging with their hands and little mini shovels. It's just sad, And also, here's another one. Like even us, instead of paying an American, a digital designer, right, that creates the logos, you want to charge me $400 to do a logo, and I could just go to Fiverr and pay $60. You know what I mean? And a lot of those people in Fiverr, they're from India. You know what I'm saying?
And they work very hard.
And they work really hard. So it's like I could get Dave to do it for me in America, but dude from India is like, thank you, come again.
No, the real game where people ain't really this is game for anybody that really want to take advantage of it. You can have your own design company in America, right? It could be Bakersfield Logo Designs or Bakersfield Designs LLC. And all you got to do is promote yourself, take in the clients, but you hiring dudes on Fiverr.
Exactly.
So you just the middleman, and you charging $500 for a logo, and you making a killing.
And you ain't got
He's like just your employee.
You ain't even got to have a computer.
You ain't got to have a computer. All you got to be able to do is you text on your phone. Just be able to communicate.
Oh my God. And then what you do with the design is you be like, is this what you want? And then you can get a text message, and then or the message from Fiverr, and you take that message and crop out any not credentials, but anything showing it's from Fiverr, send it to them.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that works. Okay, boom. Finalize it from Fiverr. They got that. Boom. Do you send it in? They're like, actually, I want you to make more tweaks. I'll be like, I'm sorry. If you want to make more tweaks, that's going to be additional cost. Right? Bro, that's hilarious. You said that. Yeah. But in regards to this Adidas with Yeezy, I will say this. These companies don't give a fuck about blacks, Jews, gays. They don't give a fuck about anybody. All they care about is their bottom line.
Didn't Nike give the trans women a clothing line or something like that? Or
No. Nah, I don't know about no trans.
Yeah, because Caitlyn Jenner was like tripping. Or something.
Man, they need to stop this shit. This overly progressive stuff is fake. They need to stop. They don't care.
No, my bad. I'm thinking about the butt.
Yeah,
but beard. That
was fake. They don't give a fuck about trans people. Nobody. Yeah. They need. What's happening is there's a bunch of overly progressive people that become a part of these companies, and the PR team and all the people I think it would be a good idea if we had trans for a beer company. And it's like, you don't care about trans people. Just stop it.
Yeah.
I hate all these companies. All of a sudden, they want to care about. They pandering to black people. Like, we love our black community. Y'all don't care.
There's no inclusion. It's beer.
It's beer.
It go down. Everybody living the same way.
It's ridiculous.
It's just like it's not. You don't need all of that. It's just.
I miss the days when companies just made shit and didn't care about nobody.
Yeah, I'm starting to hate, and this is total tangent, but I'm starting to hate when you can see the inclusion inside of the commercial or the TV show.
Stop it.
Like there's this HIV medication commercial, and it's like the couple is getting married, and the woman is kind of big. I can't tell if she's like transgender or like she just, or if they're trying to show like, you know, the tall woman, you know, like that type of diversity in a relationship, or I just don't get the characters in the commercial.
It's fake.
Yeah, but it just looks like that. It's like
Yeah.
the thing that what I want to see in TV, I want TV to represent reality.
Right.
When I walk down the street, I see, you know, I live in Bakersfield, so there's a lot of Mexicans here. You know, it's a few blacks sprinkled, you know, here and there, and it's a lot of white people. And then there's a couple, you know, Asians that own liquor stores and stuff like that. That's what it looks like when you walk down the street in Bakersfield. Right. So that's what, you know, that's what I want representation to look like. I don't care for like hitting all the boxes. All right, we need the one trans, we need the Asian character, we need the gay character, we need the lesbian character, we need the black guy over here, we need the black guy in an interracial relationship, and all this other stuff.
You got it?
No, I missed it.
Oh, come on, man.
Yeah, it's all kind of little bugs floating around here, so it's getting kind of annoying. But yeah, so that I just hate when I can see it in the thing, because it takes away, it pulls you out of what you don't want. Is your you don't want anything inside of the show or movie to pull you out of the experience.
It's fake. It's fake.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier today, what's that bike company? They got like, they do shit online. They got like trainers online.
Like the Peloton?
Peloton.
Yeah.
I think I seen it might have been a Peloton ad. If it wasn't Peloton, it was something else.
Mm-hmm.
But they showed, it was this big girl that was, I guess she was an instructor of something.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a big girl, like going through the workouts. And I don't have a problem with that, because everybody's not small. But the issue I have is it just screamed inclusion to me, and it was annoying. And the reason why it's annoying is because I know this to be a fact, nobody would hire a fat trainer. Nobody would hire a fat trainer. Not even a person that's fat would hire a fucking fat trainer. So cut the bullshit.
And you also don't, just to be real, like you don't sell like any sort of thing like that is supposed to be beneficial to your health by having like you got him?
I don't know.
The mugs are sneaky.
Yeah, man. Fuck.
But you don't sell anything beneficial to your health by promoting it with a big person. Like,
no.
You don't sell the ab machine. You don't sell the protein powder. Mm-mm. You don't sell the yoga pants by advertising it, you know, with the bigger woman. I just don't get that.
Its business is being fake. They're trying to use this fake progressive inclusion when we don't think like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because when it comes down to really selling products, when it really comes down to it, they're not going to put a big person. Like if you go to the store, to buy workout equipment, there's not going to be an obese person that's used on the advertising. It's always going to be a person that is in shape.
You know, I think it makes sense when you think about like certain athletes, right? So you think about like an offensive lineman. Mm-hmm. They work really hard. You know, they probably eat good too, but they do work really hard. They're in really good shape. You got to be in really good shape to run up and down the field every single play for 4 quarters, right?
Right.
But they still, even being bigger, they still look like they in decent shape.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just see like some of these inclusion commercials and the person just be sloppy. You like, this person is just an actor. You know, they just fit the description. You wanted to put a bigger person in yoga pants or whatever, and they do not work out in their regular life.
No, you can tell. But it's just, like I said, there are overly progressive people that are working at these companies now that think it's a good idea to do this. You need to stop it. Just stop. Just stop it, because it's getting annoying. And it's super duper fake, man.
Yeah.
Especially with the whole Adidas acting like they cared about Jews. Great job, Adidas. You just proved that you don't give a fuck about Jewish people. Yeah. And you have to revert back to being who you really were. You never should have diverted from it. You should have just been a snake and a piece of shit like y'all was at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And then the whole Adidas, whether it's racial inclusion, whatever, it's all fake. Yeah. Don't try to, first of all, if Nike or whoever is trying to be included with Kaepernick, also that speaks to Kaepernick's morality. Mm-hmm. The fact that, you got to deal with Nike, right? You got to deal with Nike, and it was like to support this or that. But like, hey man, those jerseys are being made by kids, some brown kids somewhere that's being fucking paid a 1 penny for that whole jersey you made.
Yeah.
So it's just like, bro, that's why it also comes down to this. If you knew where every dollar was being made, you would be walking around butt naked every motherfucking day. The phone you use, oppress somebody. The underwear you're wearing, oppress somebody. The shirt that you're wearing, it oppressed somebody because somebody wasn't being paid properly to do it, and they didn't have good working conditions to even be doing that in the first place. Here's another one that's gonna blow your mind, guys. You ready? You ready? Those Trump hats, you know, the Trump hats and all that, and Trump was talking about build the wall, and everybody was like, yeah, build the wall. Well, you wanted to build the wall, right? Those Trump hats were made in Mexico by Mexicans. You know that, right? Mm-hmm. So the same people you saying need to have a wall built to keep them out are making the very hats on your head. Mm-hmm. Everybody is in bed with each other.
Yeah.
But some people do
a big old orgy.
Yeah, some people just do a better job of demonizing others, right? So you demonizing the same people that you using for labor.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I'm not going to go into deep detail with the whole shit that's going on in Florida with DeSantis. I know I told you about it, right? Mm-hmm. Where basically they got it to where they're not hiring immigrants. They're not hiring anybody without proper documentation. Mm-hmm. And they just literally got a bunch of infrastructure that's not going to be properly built because they just got rid of all the Mexicans over there.
It's going to look like when the housing crisis happened in like 2008.
Oh man, it's going to be fucking
unfinished properties and
everywhere.
Like yeah.
And they got unskilled workers doing the job. It's not that other people can't do the job. It's the fact that you relied on brown people to do that job for so long that they're the only ones that have the skill to finish all that shit at a certain time.
Yeah.
So, you know, and you paid them bottom dollar to do it.
Picked them up at Home Depot.
Yeah. Not just there, but just in general. And now you demonize the same people that built all that shit, and now they coming to California, they going to Arizona, they going all over the place because you ain't letting them work, and now DeSantis is a fucking moron. Because even the conservatives that be like, build a wall and keep the Mexicans out, at the end of the day, they can say whatever they want. But without them hiring Mexicans, none of their businesses will even fucking work.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's just part of America at this point. Like the whole illegal, undocumented workers and all this stuff. Not overall. There's definitely some states that are more strict on it. Like in Nevada, when I lived in Nevada, there were people that I worked with at McDonald's that had all the proper documents. They had the green cards and the working visas and all this other stuff. There was one person where they was waiting to take some test and they had to go back to Mexico.
What?
Yeah, they had to go back to Mexico in order to study or get their stuff right, and then they came back.
Wow.
And they started working again. So, yeah, Nevada is, I think, if I'm not mistaken, they'll pull up to your house and be like, your stuff is up, your green card expired, whatever. You gotta go back home.
Yeah, it's all been all kind of stories, man. Mm-hmm. It's all been all kind of stories of, like in meatpacking plants. Mm-hmm. There's a movie called Fast Food Nation. You guys should check it out. Mm-hmm. Fast Food Nation is the meatpacking plant, and they hired a bunch of Mexicans there, and it's like it kind of chronicles like a really disturbing story of them double crossing people. The instruction video is completely in English, and they don't speak English, so they're not absorbing any of the safety measures. They just make them watch the video for liability purposes and shit like that. A guy ends up losing his leg. It's just a long. And that dude from the 70s show, Wilmer Valderrama, he's in there. But this is just a regular practice. These companies do not care. They don't care. They don't care if you're racist. They don't care about nothing. So it's like, if you ever see any company trying to have a moral standing, just know that they're lying and just move on. And if you want to drink their beer, keep drinking it. If you want to wear their shoes, keep wearing it.
Yeah. And if you choose not to, just don't do it.
And be quiet.
Don't be real public about it, because there's hypocrisy in every aspect. That same company, that's the vegan company that, they don't take, they use good resources and all this other stuff. They're taking advantage of somebody in some capacity.
Yeah, we're completely vegan, but they probably don't tell you the process that kills certain other vegetation in order for it to make these organic, right? You never know what they're doing.
Yeah. And even like with, there's another, it's called like Where Are You Eating or something like that. There's a book I read in school. And just the lies that a lot of these companies tell in terms of where they're getting their food. And, they'll say something like, yo, this is this food is these are Maryland crabs or something like that. In reality, they getting it from Jamaica and Nicaragua, and even the Starbucks talked about where they get their coffee beans from. In reality, it be in a whole different country. And even apples, that people be acting like apples come from certain places, and a lot of times they be coming from China. So it's just a lot that it's a lot of lies that happen, and
And the thing that people don't understand too, and I'll say this before we move on, is these food companies are bargaining your health every time. Those apples that you get from the store, you ever see somebody like they get an apple, they run it through some cold water and they just start eating it? If you boil that apple, there'll be so much fucking wax coming off of that shit.
Yeah, I did a thing where I seen this thing on TikTok, and I put a couple of vegetables, fruit, and some baking soda and water for like 15 minutes. And the water was so dirty. It was like dang near black. It was crazy. Yeah.
And we're eating that. And you got to understand there's pesticides all over it. They have this, I seen one that's, they have a vegetable cleaning mechanism, and you put it in the water.
Oh, it's like a little electronic.
Yeah. And it like pulsates, and it shakes off every bit of dirt and toxin in that water. And you could look at fruit and vegetables like, ooh, those fruits and vegetables look so vibrant, right? They look so bright in color. And then when you put that shit in there, it's black.
But that goes both ways, right? Because obviously the pesticides and stuff like that, you wanna clean that off. But also like these are fruit that come from the ground. Like we're picking it from nature, right? Like the cabbage and the potatoes, these are like potatoes grow from the ground. Watermelons grow from the ground. So it goes both ways, right? Like people. So what I'm saying is some people are over exaggerating the emphasis that there's dirt on the fruit because like, strawberries and all this stuff, it comes from the ground.
100%. I dig that. But the issue comes in when you put these vegetables in there and a ton of bugs come out too.
Yeah, that's the wild stuff.
Oh man, they put this girl, the strawberries, looking at a good set of strawberries, you'll be like, oh my God, that looks so good. And this girl put that vegetable and fruit cleaning device in water, shook it out, and it was a
like
gang of worms and bugs came out of the fucking strawberries. And I'm guilty of it. I've gotten fruit from the store thinking it was washed, and then get it and bite it and eat it, but I'm eating all the motherfucking bugs and dirt.
It's fire though.
Yeah. People be eating strawberries dipped in chocolate. It's like, man, that shit is not clean, man.
Chocolate, I think and soil and pesticides. And
the pesticides, you got to also understand that they do everything they can, and it doesn't stop with fruits and vegetables. Also, the meats we're buying. I don't eat much beef, but if you eat beef, you need to understand they're putting dye in it in order for it to look more lively, right? The beef that we get, I remember a long time ago, Ranch Market there's no Ranch Markets anymore. But I remember one time. I
forgot about Ranch Market.
Yeah, Ranch Market.
It's Vallarta now.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same company.
I don't think it's the same. What I'm saying, it's comparable. All those spaces that was Ranch Market is Vallarta's now.
Yeah, that's true. But at Ranch Market, they would be selling a bunch of beef like real fucking cheap, right? And then one time, I bought some beef from there, and I took the package, and it was real red on the outside. And then when I put my hand to make a patty, that shit was dark brown on the inside. I'm like, oh, fuck no. So the outside looked red. It looked like it was like fresh meat. But then I put my hand there to make the patty, and then the meat was stinking.
Oh, no, that's not good.
I'm like, oh, this is bad beef right here. Y'all just selling anything.
Yeah. But fruit is supposed to go bad. So I think that's more like, I don't know. It's the food industry is like, it's very tricky because on one end, like I was saying, like, even if you grow fruit in your backyard, like, we had
that's way safer in your backyard. Way better.
My girlfriend, she had it was like a peach tree or something back there. And it was like, like worms and rats and all this stuff was getting into the tree. So, it happened. But in reality, it doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work for you to grow your own food. Like, we consume so much food, like you would need acres and acres and acres of vegetation and fruits and vegetables and stuff like that to feed yourself. True. Because we buy, I don't know how much, vegetables and stuff you buy, but, You know, if you buy, I'll use like a normal grocery list, maybe a couple apples, couple cucumbers, some lettuce, all that stuff. For you to grow that, regularly, to be able to eat that, you know, land. Multiple times, it's like it's almost impossible.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why our food looks like the way it does. You know, it's like my girlfriend's mom, she just got like a pomegranate tree, right, for Mother's Day, and she's gonna figure out where to plant it. And supposedly it's supposed to bloom in September, and it may be a handful of, you know, pomegranates that come off that tree. But, you know, when you go to the grocery store, you may throw 2 or 3 of them in there in your basket, and you may eat those in over a week and a half or something like that. And then next time you go back, you're going to get some more. And it just doesn't work for our society. Like we far too advanced to be like trying to grow our own food.
Yeah, but it's also true that you need to be aware of these fucking pesticides. These pesticides, because they're giving people cancer.
Yeah, so make people sterile.
Yeah, make people sterile. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that we should have our health bargained like that. That's not right at all. Mm-hmm. And also, it makes you believe that cancer is a business, because there has to be some type of an organic way to maintain a crop without spraying fucking poison all over it. Mm-hmm. You know, they have different things that kill bugs naturally, like diatomaceous earth.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't know her personally, but I was having a conversation with a person that she I don't know what her job, I forget her job title, but basically she does that. Like she tends to crops and stuff like that. And she was really fighting, or not really fighting, but she was talking to the people. She's like, she tries to suggest against the people that hire her from using pesticides. But sometimes she has to use it because that's what the people want. And so it's kind of like the double-edged sword of like, I don't like using pesticides, but I also got to make money. You know, I know that the pesticides are killing the bees. The bees are already, you know, dang near extinct. Mm-hmm. But, you know, this is also like a job. And I'm either complain about it or just do my job and get the money, because this is what my job is.
Yeah, you don't have to do it at the end of the day.
You can say no to the job.
You do it because you want to make money, and I understand it. But like, if
that's the dilemma.
Yeah, it's a moral dilemma. If you want to make a moral stand, the only thing you could do is not fucking do that.
Yeah.
The farming system has been robbed. It's been grabbed by like big government. Like, even when we watched the documentary Super Size Me 2, Big Chicken. Mm-hmm. Like, Big Chicken just took over everything. The farmer chicken, keeping farmers in debt and shit. It's fucked up.
Sick, yeah.
It's so fucked up.
So much corruption everywhere.
It's bad. But what I was about to say, I mentioned diatomaceous earth. Mm-hmm. Diatomaceous earth is natural, and it's used to keep like bugs, and it basically affects the exoskeleton of bugs. Mm-hmm. If you put it around your house or you put it near crops, and it's safe. It's safe around dogs and pets and everything. Mm-hmm. But insects, if they get near it, it'll cut up their exoskeleton. Mm-hmm. Things like that. So there's no way that you can't find some type of natural alternative to keep the crops from killing regular people. Like why are we eating something healthy if it's killing us?
Yeah,
that's fucked up. But yeah, we're going around in circles. Let's get out of here. Switching gears, Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom had a conversation about reparations for black people, and now he backed off of it. And people are not letting him forget. California Republican slams Newsom for backing off his reparations proposal. California Governor Gavin Newsom has gotten himself in a lose-lose situation by declining to support slavery reparations recommended by his own task force, a top Sacramento Republican charged. The Democratic governor on Tuesday argued that dealing with the legacy of slavery is about more than cash payments, and declined to endorse any specific recommendations made by the task force, including handing out up to $1.2 million in reparations to the state's black residents. As a result, Newsom has gotten himself in a lose-lose situation, according to Assembly Republican leader James Gallagher. No matter what he does, he's going to anger part of his base. It will take an absurd mental gymnastics to require California taxpayers, including new immigrants, low-income workers, and even some African Americans, to pay for the wrongdoing committed by other states more than 150 years ago. But that's the position Newsom put himself in. Gallagher said the Republican leader then slammed Newsom for making big promises he can't or won't keep. Okay, here's the problem. Multiple angles are wrong about this. One of them is this. To put the amount of years, more than 150 years ago, people were slighted. An atrocity or injustice plus time does not absolve this country of what they did to black people. So let's get that fucking straight. Okay, first and foremost. Secondly, I'm tired of politicians bringing up the idea of reparations in order to pander to black people and then get you up to where you're voting for these motherfuckers and they don't really give a fuck. Mm-hmm. Okay, stop doing that. Let's be very clear. Was I a slave? No. But people who looked like me many years ago actually built this country for free labor, right? And the actual business model of America has never really changed. There is always a slave class here. The closest thing to a slave is somebody who was a worker that may not have proper documentation, and you could pay them bottom dollar to do a job. Mm-hmm. That has never changed in America. Never. The same fucking business model. Mm-hmm. Okay? So ultimately, here's the thing. I'm pro reparations for this reason. I'm pro reparations because we live in a country where slave masters in that time got paid for lost property, right? Other racial groups that had any injustices done to them got paid. Native Americans got reservations and an apology for what was done to them. Japanese were put in internment camps in the 40s. They got cash payments. So everybody else has been taken care of but black people. And the thing about it is, I hate having these conversations, but I just don't think people are educated enough to say anything because the American education system has done a good job of just being a lie by omission. There's so many things left out. Like I mentioned, the very first president, this motherfucker was yanking out teeth from slaves and putting them in his mouth. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he had teeth of ivory and wood, but when his other teeth fucked up, he said, hey, give me that slave and yank his teeth out, and I'm going to put his teeth in my mouth. They made chairs that was stuffed with slave hair. Mm-hmm. Have you seen those? Mm-mm. Bro, they got literal chairs that they snatched the hair off of slaves and put it in a fucking seat. They literally would go out and lynch black people, hang them from a tree, and cut their hands and arms off and pass them around as a souvenir. This is all documented. I'm not making up any of this shit. It gets really dark. It gets really sick. And what makes me mad is when these politicians come out and they think that they're pandering to black people and dangling that fucking carrot. Like, dude, stop dangling the carrot and give me my money. Mm-hmm. I'm tired of hearing this shit. I'm a hard worker. I work for my money, but let's be clear. My ancestors that look like me, that got lynched, killed, and robbed of opportunities, if they ain't getting the money, then give it to me. I'll take it. Yeah. I will take it. And I think that black people have just it's a disservice. And people say, well, where's the money? Well, I didn't own slaves. Here's a stance that a lot of modern white Americans have. Look, I didn't own slaves, and my taxpayer money shouldn't be going to that. You know what? You got the right to say that. But here's the other flip side. Your tax money going anywhere and everywhere you don't want it to go already.
I hate that argument. Like, nigga, you don't have a choice where your tax money goes. I've been paying for this. I've been paying for the 99 for half my life now. They been building on that road.
They punking your ass the same way they punking me. You ain't got no say so anyways. Mm-hmm. All that motherfucking money going to Ukraine. You know, black people have fought in every American war. Ukraine don't give a fuck about us. If we went through anything, Ukraine ain't finna send us no aid. If all of a sudden China start going to beefing with us, you think they finna help us? Fuck no. Mm-hmm. Oh, sending billions of dollars to Ukraine, but we can't give money to reparations to America. Look, reparations is not about black people. Reparations is about Americans. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's switch the story around, right? Let's say we don't get that money to black people. Let's say we want reparations for American soldiers who are homeless, that lost their legs in Vietnam, and we want to pay them cash payments. Do you think there would be any pushback for that, Keith?
It's hard to say because they haven't done it.
Well, they haven't done it just because they haven't done it. I don't think it's ever been proposed to do that. If Colin Kaepernick was taking a knee for U.S. soldiers that were put in unnecessary wars, do you think he would get pushback for that?
No.
Okay, this is the same conversation. I think that the issue comes when it's for black people, because the issue is white people that's not racist at all, but they like, yo, why do we need to give money to black people? It doesn't make any sense. Why is it just about them? It's because they feel this way because they do not have the education. You don't have the education of what happened to black people. Black people were literally breeded like animals in order to have the biggest, strongest slaves. Did you know that the biggest burial site for slaves in New York City, it's not too far from Ground Zero and 9/11? Like around the corner, it's a bunch of slaves buried in the motherfucking ground. Did you know that? Yes. I'll put a story up right now. It's nuts. It's nuts the amount of things that have happened in America to black people that people simply don't know. And if they knew it, then they would really listen and be like, oh my God, this is terrible. New York City slave massive grave. Okay, let's see here. All right. New York African Burial Ground National Monument. For a century, from 1690s to 1790s, a small plot of a land in Lower Manhattan became the final resting place for over 15,000 free and enslaved Africans. The burial ground was then lost under the years of urban development and landfill until workers rediscovered the burial ground in 1991 during an excavation of the land of the federal government office building. Excavations at the site revealed the remains of 419 Africans and over 500 individual artifacts, considered one of the most important archaeological finds in the 20th century. The African burial ground is of national significance because of what it can tell us about the lives of Africans and African Americans in the urban context. Both the deceased and their possessions help piece together a more complete history of New York City in the 17th and 18th centuries and what life was like for Africans in the city. The discoveries demonstrate the power of collaboration between anthropology, archaeology, and history. In the 1640s, the Dutch granted conditional freedom to a group of African men and women. This action would serve as the impetus for the creation of African-American community in New York, settling themselves outside of New York, roughly a mile from the Triple Manhattan. The African community developed a distinct culture in 1697. Africans were not allowed to bury their dead in what had become New York's primary burial ground. Scholars believe this ban was the reasons Africans used the burial ground today. But it's also true that they was getting killed and thrown in that motherfucker. So think about this, man. Like, this is stuff we don't know. It didn't get found until 1991. Literal black history had been buried in the fucking ground in New York City. You know how many black towns in America literally got burned down and buried? Did you know that there's bodies of water that are over black towns because they open up what do you call those? What's that thing? The Everglades? You know, the Everglades started, I guess they were just like routing water out there. And what they were doing, they did the same thing to these black towns. They just fucking buried them in water. So it's like, bro, it's insane the atrocities that have happened to black people that have literally been buried. And then you got politicians like Gavin Newsom's dickhead ass that wants to bring up these talking points, and he really doesn't care.
Yeah. Just get the black vote, get black people riled up and, you know, interested in him. And especially because, like, you know, we have been so almost forced to vote Democrat, right? And if you don't vote Democrat, you kind of labeled as an Uncle Tom or a person that doesn't care about his community and all these other things. Meanwhile, like, we have situations like this where we get promised a certain thing, or when we get promised that, you know, somebody is going to work on something or help the black community in some capacity, and then you get voted in, and then you just like completely dismiss, you know, the whole conversation in itself. And it's just kind of sad. But I think that, like you said, like having that sort of financial help to the black community, obviously there's like literacy involved, right? We need, you know, black people need to learn how to, because the money is, the money is part of the issue, but the financial literacy is the real issue, right? Because when you see, I've been in situations where I've had a friend who was unemployed at the time, and he came across a couple $100, like somebody, they got their taxes or whatever, they gave him like a couple $100, and the first thing he did was offer to buy, he offered to buy his friend something, like we were sitting inside of a Barnes and Noble. So basically I'm saying, like, they say like the statistic didn't end up, there's no factual evidence behind it, but there was a statistic that was going around that said like the black dollar stays in the black community for like seconds or something like that. But I'm saying that to say, like, when I seen that in real time, I was like, yo, this is a microcosm of like what the black community looks like. So they say like if all the money in the world was dispersed evenly, within a matter of some years, it will all end up going back exactly the way it was beforehand, right? So the top 1% will be the 1% again, just because the nature of like the financial, the business acumen, right? So let's say me, Eddie, Warren Buffett, we all get bust down like $1,000. Warren Buffett, being the investment genius that he is always going to find a way to come out on top. Yeah. So I say that to say like I think it would help. The reparations will help people like us, like the people that have like a real idea of like, yo, if I come across X amount of dollars, I know that I'm gonna be good for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I think black people already figured it out, but they got fucking murdered and burned in Tulsa, the Tulsa race massacre. For example, which is the best example, I'm reading it here. In Greenwood of a century ago, $1 spent within the community circulated 36 to 100 times before leaving. So this has already been done. These were black people in the 1920s and 1921 that, that wasn't too far post slavery. They literally lifted themselves up from their bootstraps, and they didn't have none. These are talking about black dentists, black doctors, black theaters, black freaking airports. Everything was black in that area. Barbershops, very affluent people, millionaires in the 20s. And they got bombed. The first domestic terrorism, we talk about 9/11, which was terrible. But the first victims of domestic terrorism were black people in 1921 in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm not making it up. Reference everything I'm telling you. They got bombed. Okay? And black men that fought in World War I was trying to fight a war in America. They fought for this country, came back and got bombed in their own country. Ain't that a bitch? So when you talk about reparations, I'm talking about that. I feel like it's our job with this platform, whether as big as small as it is, not to run people off, not to chastise people or to demonize white people, but to educate you on what you don't know. Because there's so many people that when you're only plugged in to the news sources you get, these motherfuckers they're not giving you information, they're giving you affirmation. And what you already believe is a lie by omission. So when that happens and you haven't done the proper research on your own, you're going to have people just echoing the same stuff. It's same things happens on the left. I just seen the thing right now with Joe Biden's ass, and he was pandering at a fucking black graduation, dog. Hold on. God. Let me pull it up right here. Where's it at? Joe Biden. Biden to congratulate of historically black college, Howard University, end quote, U.S. history hasn't been a fairy tale. You act like you wasn't racist, motherfucker. President Joe Biden on Saturday told graduates of leading historical black university that American history has not been a fairy tale and that racism has long torn us apart. But on the nation's best days, he said enough of us have the guts and heart to stand up for what's best in us. As Biden spoke, more than a dozen cap and gown Howard University students stood with their backs to him, holding handmade signs in silent protest over what they said were many forms of white supremacist violence.
Oh, dang.
So they ain't giving a fuck what Joe Biden got to say.
God dang.
Yeah. In his speech, Biden described the 2017 white nationalist rally, Charleston, Virginia, which he has said helped compel him to run for president in 2020. Man, you just a liar. hate never goes away, and silence is complicity. Biden said. Well, yeah, hate never goes away because you're the president. Well, yeah, we just had a dumbass in Trump, and now we got your old dumbass. You can't even stand up. He done fell down 2 times in one fucking term. We know that American history has not always been a fairy tale, Biden said, describing a constant push and pull between the idea that all people are created equal, the harsh reality that racism has long torn us apart. But on the best days, enough of us have the guts and the hearts to stand up for what's best in us. He continued to choose love over hate. I hate these very vanilla, bullshit ass motherfucking statements. Joe Biden, can you just admit, dog, that you're not progressive as you act like you are? You was a part of that fucking 94 crime bill. You also made statements like you didn't want your kids growing up in a racial jungle, right? You know, you and the Clintons use words like super predator. Yeah, we ain't forgot about that.
Yeah.
We ain't forgot about it.
But then the same thing, these people won't even acknowledge those conversations.
They won't acknowledge it. They won't acknowledge it. And you was a grown-ass man when you said this shit. So you had plenty of time from...
he was old back then.
You was old back then. You was like Mr. Burns Jr., and now you went full Burns.
He was like 40s, in his 40s maybe?
No. Yeah. That's a good one. No, that was in the 90s, and you were born in 92. That happened in 94. That was only 30-something years ago. Huh?
In his 50s.
He was already old enough. He was already old enough to retract all of his thoughts that happened in the very like racist society he grew up in, but he still adopted those same things. But now that he's president in this very progressive fake world we live in, because truth be told, we can't appropriate everything. There's a lot of shit going on right now that we should not be appropriating.
Yeah.
You should not be able to change your whole gender in the motherfucking 3rd grade. That don't make no motherfucking sense.
Yeah.
But this is where we at. So, man, I could talk till I'm blue in the face, man.
Give me my money.
I'll take my money. If you say
big bills, I need large bills.
If you say, are you pro reparations? Yes, I am. I am because I'm educated to the matter.
Yeah.
I'm actually educated to the matter. And once you become educated to the matter, you'll understand that black people do deserve to get paid. I think despite what the media, what everybody tried to say, Native Americans got land, the Japanese got paid, all these other people got paid, slave masters got paid, and black people can't get paid. That don't make no fucking sense.
I think because it was a conversation. Spike Lee's production company is called 40 Acres.
I know.
And it's one, it was a conversation, and the two, there was after slavery, it was just like iterations of slavery, right? You know, like the 13th Amendment and the Jim Crow laws and all these other things. So not only that it was promised and not only that it wasn't given, but also like the suppression of our community for years and years and years. And we got to fight hard, dog. Like, the work that you put in at your job just to make ends meet, and excuse me, the work that I have to put in, and the people around me that work that they have to put in just to be able to breathe a little bit. And we don't even not have a luxurious life. Like, we got a decent office space, and we got camera equipment and stuff like that. But it's still a fight just to get a little bit, right? I think that with the reparations, it would just give us room to breathe, and especially like we were saying before, like people that really know what they're doing. Like me and Eddie we be sharing information all the time. Like, what would it look like if, and the thing is, we got all the information, but not the resources, or not the economic, the economics to back a lot of the stuff. So, if we had those resources, it would really like literally shift the paradigm of the black community. And, who knows what that would look like, I mean? Who knows what it would look like if we have downtown Bakersfield and it's a lot of white people buying up a lot of land here and putting up, luxury apartments that it's like $2,500 a month for 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom, apartments downtown. What would it look like if, a black family owned that,
Yeah, and you think about it too, there's like black anything is not celebrated in America. And here's why. People say that's wrong. You guys have your own state. You have not state. You have your own month, Black History Month. Okay. You know how they got Tokyo, they got what do you call it? Chinatown and
Koreatown.
Koreatown and Little Italy and all these places. All these places, you got these places all over America. I've never seen a Little Africa. It's probably someone somewhere. But the thing about it is we don't even have real history in America because we got robbed. Like my name is not my real last name. If I had a real last name, it would be like Oziku or whatever it would be. But
there was a guy who really had the nerve enough to tell me, and I didn't want to like argue with him because I was like, this is not really, like, he's very passionate about this. But he really had the nerve enough to tell me that he traced his history, and I'm not going to say his last name, but his last name is just a generic, like, it's a black man, by the way. It's just a generic last name. Let's say his last name is like Brown or something like that, right? So he said traced the lineage of his family, and he did a bunch of research, and he found no trace of ever being a slave. But I was like,
that's
you really think your ancestors in Western Africa
was named Brown?
Was named Brown?
Fucking stupid ass motherfucker.
It was like, dog,
stupid.
Come on now.
You gotta be stupid. My last name is McGee. That's from fucking Ireland.
Yeah. So
there was somebody in my lineage somewhere that was related. Conor McGregor is probably my cousin. Right?
Yeah.
Who fucking knows? All I know is we don't even have real names. That's how bad it is. If you ever seen that movie Roots and Kunta Kinte is getting the shit beat out of him, and he's like, "What's your name, boy?" He's like, "Kunta." He beat his ass till he told him. He beat his ass till he told him his name was Toby, and that's how he adopted his name. He got beaten so much that his name got changed to Toby on the spot.
Yeah.
So it's the thing. I don't know, man.
Same thing with Nat Turner he came from the Turner family, so that's how he got his last name.
Yeah.
And then he got sold off, and they just let him keep his last name.
Yeah. But the origin is completely from there. I think the thing to debunk. Some people think they're debunking whenever you bring up the lineage or the history, they'll be like, "Well, you do understand that slavery was not exclusive to the United States." Yeah, I know that.
Cool. Yeah.
It's a good story, bro. But nobody capitalized on slavery more than the fucking United States, especially during the cotton era. That was $1 billion industry back then.
Well, I mean, there's not really any reason to compare it. Like, it happened.
People do it. People do it. They'll do it. They'll say it wasn't exclusive to America, thinking that they think that this is a valuable statement to debunk anything that happened in America. But it's like, dog, it's like, we understand that it was not exclusive to the United States. Slavery was done all over the place.
And before black people were in America.
Nobody capitalized more than the United States, though, because they did not abandon the practices after slavery. The 13th Amendment was created where you could just be a black man that was outside curfew.
And it's a very new country, in comparison to some of the, we broke off from Great Britain and stuff like that.
What are we, 200 what years old?
Independence Day is like 1776,
I
think. So, it's fairly new.
Yeah. So American history isn't even that old. Yeah. To give you some context, before we get out of here, like my grandfather that passed away a few years ago, he was born in 33, right? And you got to remember, like, where my grandpa, like, what world he came into and all of the things that were taking place during that time. Like, he was like in the middle of the Jim Crow shit. Like, there was times, like, if you seen a white woman, you had to walk across the street. Yeah. Like, these is real laws.
Yeah.
And it's like, this is my grandpa we talk about. This is not my great grandpa. This ain't my great 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 uncle. This is my grandpa that just passed. My dad just passed away. It's going to be 9 months. And he grew up segregated. He couldn't even drink from the same water faucet. This isn't like my dad was 90. My dad was 63. I'm 38. I'm not even 40 for context. So when people say, like, this happened so long ago, I can't believe it. It's like, bro.
Yeah.
Stop.
That's not that long.
No, it's not that long.
And on the other end, that's a short amount of time for, like, a family to really be set up. I said before, my cousin is married into the Buffett family, and, like, their family is set up forever.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say forever. Their family is set up very good right now because, who knows what it looks like when he passes away, because he's going to donate most of his money to, different organizations and stuff like that. But however it plays out, they set up good, right? In that short amount of time. But in that same, amount of time, like the oppression has just been like, I was just thinking the other day about that crazy statistic about the average, average income of black people in Boston.
That shit was wild, yo.
It literally don't even make sense. Like, how are you surviving on like negative $14? Like, what?
That shit is
wild. It just crossed my mind the other day. Like, how are we making it out here?
And the thing is, though, the rationale behind that is basically this. This is what you have to believe. When you see something that atrocious in regards to the wealth gap, they'll just say, well, just black people are stupid and they don't work hard. That's the rationale. Nobody wants to say it. It's the elephant in the room. Black people are lazy, stupid, and they're in gangs, and that's why their money is that low.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Nobody is addressing the conditions that created that. No one is addressing redlining. No one is addressing all those years of all that shit that created that situation.
But even with that, that doesn't speak to like work ethic, because there's black people. There's some black people that just have given up and they
100%.
They don't want to do it.
And they're
just
just fucking
kind of
up.
deadbeats, right?
Yeah.
But there's also white people that do the same thing. There's also Mexican people that do the same thing. But to be the top 1% or just to be like middle class as a black man, to be in the middle class as a black man is almost like being in the 1%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just that hard. But it takes a lot, like, just me and Eddie just trying to figure life out and to make things work, and to, in terms of just like the credit that you got to have. And like, I've applied for ample amount of business loans, even back when I was in school, like college, loans. And, I've gotten denied, so many times just trying to like, get financing for a camera, get financing for, some type of business, and getting denied. And you realize like a lot of that is like, the credit score. A lot of that is like the proof of income and all these other things that you need to have in order to just get ahead. It's almost like, when you start to say you trying to, get a car or something like that, and you got the money, you got your work history and all that other stuff, and then you go in there and they like, well, you don't have any credit, and it's just like, well, like, how do I build credit without actually having, like, I can't get credit because I don't have credit, and I can't buy this car because I don't have, like, where do I get credit from? You know what I mean? So that's the type of stuff we bump into all the time. So it's just like, I say all that to say, like, it's difficult, and I think that's one thing that doesn't get acknowledged by those people. That's like, black people need to work hard and black people need to do this. Like, I know a lot of black people with degrees. I know a lot of people with degrees, and just because you got a degree, that don't make life peaches and cream. Like, it's still a grind. It's still, you still got to figure this thing called life out. Yeah,
some people that will make those statements about black people won't even be in a position that's really good themselves. I was at the store, and what I'm not going to do is indict everybody that supports Trump as a racist. I'm not going to do that. But let's just say actually this dude had to be, because he had a fucking he had a, what do you call it, a Confederate flag shirt on. If you understand the history of the Confederate flag, then you know that it's based in racism. But anyways, the dude had his Trump hat, had that. I didn't care. I just had like a little brief conversation, just like, oh, I had those cookies or whatever. Those taste good. Like, I didn't care he had that on. But more than likely, a lot of those ideals or ideology that's within that party or that subculture, it's like, black people need to get jobs, or they're lazy, this and that. And there was only one person using a food stamp card, and it was the guy using cash. And I was the guy using cash, and he had his EBT card. So it's like, that same person.
That's big government.
Right? Yeah, exactly. There you go. Yeah, you'll be the same guy that have an opinion about black people being lazy, but I work for every dime.
With a freaking EBT card.
You got an EBT
Judging
card.
Everybody else.
the percentage of, and it's crazy to the percentage of black and white people that are on welfare. And this one dude tried to make an example and say, black people, complain about America, but they make this much money off welfare. I'm thinking like, you went straight to welfare, motherfucker? Yeah. There are more white people on welfare than black people. Like, that's a fact. And that's not to be reductive of white people. That's just the situation. That's just the
numbers, yeah.
That's just the numbers. But it just seems like, we get the brunt of the bad shit whenever it's a bad story or somebody got shot.
Also, like, it's just food, right? It ain't like, some people do be having like the SNAP benefits of they get cash aid and stuff like that. That's for the people that's just really doing bad. But for the most part, it's just food. Like, essentially America's giving people that are, in poverty food. And, there's not really anything to complain about. Food should be accessible.
I grew up on food stamps, yo.
Yeah.
If I'd have had a food stamps, I'd have fucking starved.
For sure. But food is so expensive. Like,
it is
nowadays, like, nigga, you got to. I would hope that middle class people could get food stamps.
I was about to say that because the middle class is under attack.
Bro, I just texted you earlier. I was like, dog, a McChicken is $3.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck is going on?
I was like, cool. I'm gonna go. I'm in between going to see my girl's mom or whatever. Let me just stop at McDonald's, spend like $5 max just to hold me over because I might be going to dinner with my mom. So I went through the drive-thru and I was like, cool, let me get a McChicken and then like a little small fry or whatever. They pulled up. I looked at the menu.
You didn't get the two for $3.99? You should have got that.
No, I didn't. I mean, I'm not really tapped in. So and the menu, nigga, the menu was like, it was like flat. The board was, the server was out. like it was like flat. It was like pulsating. I was like, I can't even read this. So I just was like, let me just go with what I know. And then I was like, yeah, let me get a McChicken and some fries. And then it was like $3.19. I was like, this is stupid. It don't make no sense. It's not. It was almost like, cause you don't need to be eating McDonald's every now and then. I mean, you don't need to be eating McDonald's every day, but every now and then it's like, it's cool. It's decent food. So I was like, man, I have McDonald's in a minute. Let me just go over here. And then I was like, this is the reason why I haven't been to McDonald's. It's just too expensive.
That shit expensive, yo. You want to get your eat on, man.
Yeah.
You know what I did? Even though I've reduced my amount of times I eat out, what I do is I download the app to any place that I ever eat out or every place I do go.
Yeah.
And I downloaded the app to see if I get any deals because that's how much I don't want to spend money.
They also asked too. I should have been listening better, but she was like, are you paying with that? Are you ordering from the app? And I was like, nah, I'm just.
There'd be some deals on there. It'll be like, buy a Big Mac, get another Big Mac free type shit.
Yeah.
It's like, why not get a free Mac? Fuck it. Ain't nothing in this world free.
Facts. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because they make tripping right now with these goddamn prices.
The prices. I was talking to my mom a couple days ago, and she was asking about the Albertsons app. They have the grocery store app where they have the deals on there, and you can you can earn points by spending X amount of dollars or whatever. And I go there quite frequently, like not like shopping, but like if it's like, I'm on my way home, let me grab something quick for dinner. But what I realized, I was telling her, I was like, so you gotta like shop now. You can obviously just go to your go-to store like a Winco or Foods Co or Walmart or whatever. But now to really get the best bang for your buck, you kind of gotta shop in spot. Like you hit Aldi's for this, you hit Albertsons for this, you hit Walmart for this, and it's just like, this is rough, dog. Like, so I don't know. That food conversation and the whole food stamps conversation, it really has changed in 2023 because everything is just so expensive.
It is.
It used to be to where like you could low key save money eating at home. Like, I'm about to save money. I'm about to go to the
cost the same now.
It's the same price, dog.
Yeah. This shit is right there. Yeah, man. We're going to wrap this thing up, man. Make sure you head over to our YouTube, Trucker's Mind Podcast on YouTube.
Yeah.
Head over to our Cash App at ATMPOD.
Yeah.
If you to give a friendly donation.
Yeah.
And head over to the Instagram for Trucker's Mind Podcast, _Trucker's Mind _podcast. And yeah, that's it, man.
Just keep supporting, keep sharing. You know, that's the biggest thing that we need to continue to keep growing, just people to share. And shout out to the people that do, like Baby Hulk and Aaron Mills. He be always showing love on posting it on his stories and stuff like that. So
we appreciate it, because my thing is it's not something we like to ever ask for. We like it. We want it to be authentic and organic. If you feel like it deserves a share, then do it. If you feel like you just want to listen to it and enjoy it and you don't want to be sharing it, then don't. Yeah, because I think that the best support is real support. We don't want to put people in a position where they feel obligated to do anything.
Yeah, for sure.
We put this out in hopes that you engage or enjoy this conversation. So you guys got a lot of content on Monday, man, because we definitely, where we at, man?
And happy Mother's Day to, obviously this will come out on Monday, but happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I went to church early, and it was just like it was an amazing service, because they gave like 3 or 4 people the opportunity to really acknowledge their moms, you know, or really show like, some of them were like college graduates and college students and stuff like that, and they really got to say like how special they, you know, their mother was for them in their journey in life and stuff like that. So, yeah, shout out to all the moms out there really holding it down.
Shout out to the moms, man. Appreciate y'all. Sometimes in front of a church, some people will have a heartfelt story, but it starts off like in a way that is like hilarious and you don't want to laugh. They'd be like, yo, I want to shout out my mom. Like when I was 5, she got hit by a bus. And he'd be like, oh, damn.
This is a dark story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You started off with the bus. You couldn't lead up. You couldn't like work your way up to it.
Like shout out to my moms. When we was growing up, she would always get her ass beat. But what I realized is that I could always beat the odds. Like that taught like what? Like that's the lesson you took from your mom.
You had to spin it, huh? And turn it into some motivation.
Yeah.
You know, and like I made this song for my mom. And even though you was a crack fiend, mama, you always was a black queen, mama.
You not be quoting Tupac in church.
No, it would be crazy to be like a white dude singing it. Like, you got a black mom? Trevor got a black mom? When the fuck did that happen?
That was funny.
Oh, man. I remember, man, this is a story that's really like a really personal one. But me and my dad were having a conversation with one of his old teammates. He had an old teammate named Donnell. And Donnell's real tall. He's like 6'7", like 6'8" or 9. He's really tall. And he was talking about his brother. And me and my dad were just standing there. And he said, man, my brother been tripping, nigga. Ever since he got hit by that fucking bus. Bruh, we were crying, laughing. And then he was like confused, like, why is y'all laughing? But I was just like, oh my God.
You can't even explain it. Like, you just gotta laugh. Like,
it's like, and we both started laughing, and then I just stopped, and I tried to force myself to stop, and then my dad was like, oh, I'm sorry, Donnell. I'm sorry, man. That's not funny. He's like, ever since my brother got hit by that fucking bus. Oh man, like this guy has no idea. You cannot disclose that type of information. Oh man.
You just think that's a normal conversation.
Yeah, it's not. Thank you. It's not normal to just disclose that. And the way he said
why are you making your brother wrong for getting hit by a bus?
like, what's up with that? Like,
this nigga tripping, man. He got hit by a bus, man. I don't know what's wrong with this nigga.
He's like, ever since this nigga got hit by a fucking bus, man.
You're not supposed to be normal after getting hit by a bus.
That nigga deserved
1-ton freaking vehicle running you over.
Man, if you get hit by a bus, you deserve every mental outburst that you got. Like, you just absolve him of that. He got hit by a fucking bus. He lucky to be here.
That's only something like a nigga would say. Like,
I know. I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Yeah, it's shit. You know, it's crazy, man. Ever since my brother got hit by that fucking bus, man, he been tripping. Me and my dad was laughing. Oh, I think too.
that's funny.
Back then when I was in high school, because I was still in high school at the time. Back when I was in high school, I would like have these little jokes, and I used to pull this prank on my dad's girlfriend at the time, and I would just make up a lie. I'd be like, "Man, it's crazy. Ice Cube got hit by a bus," and she was like, "Oh my god, Ice Cube got hit by a bus. This is crazy.
This is so dramatic.
I love Ice Cube. Oh my god." And then my dad came in the room, and he was like, "What happened?" He's like, "Your son, he told me Ice Cube got hit by a bus." And he was like, "That nigga playing with you." Oh, man. Oh, shoot. I love you, Dad.
Yeah, man.
Miss you.
Big head. Love you, man.
All right, let's go and close this thing down.
Yeah.
If you made it to the end of this episode, we appreciate you. Thank you for listening to A Trucker's Mind podcast. I'm Eddie McGee.
It's your boy K Fings.
We're out here.
Peace.